This is down the wire, can't wait, great contest.
Cody Ramsey kicks off. NRL Friday on ABC Sport is underway, and the first carry is taken forward by Molo with the Dolphins. And the Finns are running to the right of your radio dial and away from that Caxton Street in goal. The rain has stayed away for the time being, which is good news, with Trey Fuller taking the second carry and just short of the 20-metre mark. Quentin Hull along with Billy Moore and Zane Bojack to bring this game to you. The man known as Finn Diesel, Felice Kafusi, third carry down the middle third, midway goal line and halfway when stopped. One man to the right, it's given for Knowles, and the Englishman has taken about 16 metres his own side of halfway by the tackle of Crichton. Now Fuller has a scurry, one man to the left of Marshall King, met by the defence and put down 8 metres inside Finn's territory. End of the opening set, Katoa kicks downfield. It's a high ball which is caught defensive left side by the first time Rooster Tommy Talau. His first job in the tricolours is done. He's caught that, he's run the ball into the defence, and the Roosters will start this set just beyond the 20. Given one man to the right of dummy half, and it looks like, well, Savala's in there at dummy half at the moment. He gave it to Reece Foley wearing the blue helmet in his first game. Good luck to you, young man. And now the next first game at Basingthwaite has a carry just beyond the 30 for the Roosters. Delivered out to the right edge. Siwa Wong with a run. He's held up in a 3-man tackle. We'll play it 15 in from the right, and just a couple of metres Roosters side of halfway. Still the first set of the game for the Chooks. Here's big Nafahu White standing with 3 defenders around him. Referee says play the ball, that's 5. Last play goes to Cherry Evans. He gets a kick downfield, a floating ball which is caught by Fuller. 8 from the Dolphins line, and the fullback for the Finns has tackled 15 from his own line. So both teams get through the first set. No score on early on.
What polish. You talk about players who aren't there. Well, those that are, this is a good game of football. There's some quality players out there. Both coaches will be happy with the start.
And Zano, down to you as the Finns have it on their 20. How are the conditions at ground level? A little slippery?
Yeah, still the smoke haze is remaining from those fireworks queue as the Dolphins ran out. But the crowd's got in here close to 20,000, but it is still a little bit moist on top of that grass. But the surface does look pretty good.
Bostock has a run to the 20, and now back to, well, one man left to the middle third from Molo. Up to the 30. Katoa kicks downfield at the end of the set. He kicks it out towards that right wing side where Basingthwaite has to track back and gather it for the Roosters. The teenager on debut is tackled just short of the 30. Good kick change led by Nikarima and Kafusi as Cherry Evans comes in at dummy half. The Roosters on their own 30. Feeds it one man to the right for Billy Smith, who's tackled. 15 in from the right and 15 from halfway. Roosters playing in their predominantly white away strip tonight as Cody Ramsey has a one man infield. Plays it to his own side of halfway. Now White with another carry, and Nafahu White gets those thighs pumping. 4 or 5 post-contact metres before referee Smith orders him to play the ball 5 the attacking side of halfway. Given to the right through Fiketti to Cherry Evans. On to Foley. It is almost got through there. Was that Foley out on the right edge? No, it was Ramsey on the run. My apologies. Ramsey almost getting through. Tackled 25 out. Last play. Cherry Evans with a shallow bomb, which is knocked on by Nafahu of the Dolphins into the hands of the Roosters, and they'll get a fresh set here. Basingthwaite comes up with it, and the Chooks are on the attack with the fresh set 10 metres out. One man infield given to Spencer Leniu for a straightening run. First real chance for the Bondi boys. Leniu plays it 5 from the goal line. Watson to a 1-out run from Fiketti. He's put down in the tackle. 5 metres to the right of the uprights and only a metre from the Dolphins line. Played to Watson. Passes left for Cherry Evans. Gives it on to Savala. Savala's brought down. Good tackle by Bostock and Katoa. They stop him a metre from the goal line. 5 to the left of the H-pole. Back to open right. Watson on to DCE. Now Fiketti on an angling run. He got tackled just before the line, but keeps the ball above the ground, keeps his momentum going, and scores the first try of the game. So Leslie Fiketti has scored for the Roosters, and the Chooks go 4-0 ahead at the Cauldron.
Oh, good start by the Chooks. They're looking special here tonight. They made every poster winner. The ball knocked on, the high ball by the Finns gave them a repeat set of 6, and you could just feel it. Under the auspices of DCE, they were dragging the defensive line apart. And then Fiketti, good footwork, great right foot step, gets on the inside of Bostock, the outside of Molo, and then there's just no way Trey Fuller can stop him. He pulled off a great tackle early on in that set of 6, the little fullback for the Dolphins, but in the end, too big, too strong.
There's a question mark here, Zane, isn't there? Did he get the ball down?
No, I think he did. Look, he originally put it on the leg of Trey Fuller, but then after that he did get it down. So I'm happy with that. I think they're going to award it, but we are waiting here at the moment.
Yeah, Todd Smith's told Hugo Savala to wait up and not put the ball on the kicking tee. Yeah, we're going up to Chris Butler here. So this doesn't look good for the Roosters.
Does it come out of his hand when he puts it on the leg, Q?
Looking at the grip here of Francis Molo.
He's tackled because his ball...
So you can see at this point here, he has a clear and obvious grip of Celeste's jersey.
Ball carrying arm.
The ball in contact with the ground. This is the completion of the tackle.
Double movement.
So it's not the put down, it's the fact he went again.
Yeah.
And I don't think he got it down anyway.
Balls down. Look, that's a big question mark on a double movement on that one for me.
Well, you know, if you grab the jersey, you don't necessarily know, do you, Bill?
Oh, look, for me, there's too much momentum. That was a double movement in my playbook. So well done for the Finns to go to jail. But it was a big set of 6 there by the Roosters. And I'll go back to my point. They look like they've turned up the play. They're on fire here already. They really stretched and strained the Dolphins' defensive line.
It's a great job from Francis Molo to hold on.
He did. He was like a rodeo rider, Q. He just grabbed hold of that jersey. And like, honestly, Bill, it's a long time since I threw a football around on a footy field, but you wouldn't know. With the jersey being grabbed, you wouldn't know as opposed to someone with a hand on your leg or on your arm or something like that.
So the Dolphins get the penalty. Don't gain much ground with the kick downfield. First tackle of the new set is taken only 20 from that northern in goal by Oren Keeley in just his 5th game of the season for the Dolphins. Marshall King with a run, and now to the middle third for Knowles. And Knowles just beyond the 30 when he's tackled. No score as yet, NRL Friday on ABC Sport as Kafusi takes 8 metres down the middle third, met by Nafahu White, who makes the tackle. Pass left for Nicarima, gives it on to Farnworth. Herbie on a jinking, jiving infield run. He's got 3 Roosters defenders around him, but still makes 5 close contact metres before crumbling to deck 44 metres from the Roosters line. Marshall King passes right. End of set for Katoa, who bombs from 42 metres out. It'll come down 8 metres from the goal line. Well caught by Tommy Talau, but he's crunched immediately by the chasing duo of Bostock and Asako. And the Roosters are right on their own line as Foley, the young man, burrows his head forward and gets tackled. Still only 8 from that southern in-goal area on a drizzly Friday night for footy. It's been very wet in southeast Queensland. And the studs are getting into the surface a bit here as well, as Crichton has stopped and the Chooks are still only 15 from the southern in-goal. Watson, gives it on there, and a strong buffeting run by Spencer Leniu. Ricochets off a couple before being stopped on his own 20. End of set, and Savala will kick from inside his own 20 to get it downfield. The catch is taken only 15 Finn's side of halfway by Asako, and he's going to be stopped 5 short of the halfway line.
What a ripping set of 6 there defensively by the Finns. They made the Chooks inside their 20 because the 5 tackles just kept driving the boys from Bondi back.
Now they're going to attack the Dolphins through the right side run of Jack Bostock. 15 in from the western side and 40 from the Roosters line when tackled. Plays to Marshall King. Gives it on to Keeley. Hits the defence. His arm, for a moment was free for an offload. He doesn't give it. Plays at 32 out. Marshall King to the left for Knowles. Give it on to Katoa. Through the hands. Nicarima's pass. Puts Tavita Nafahu down the left edge before the right side Roosters defence shifts. DCE's there with Bassingthwaite to make the tackle. Played out in that left edge. Last play for the Finns. They're 15 out. Katoa with a shallow bomb, and Cherry Evans rises high, the Rooster skipper, to catch it on his chest, defuses the bomb, and the Chooks have got it far from their own line. And then Billy Smith pinches a good 15 metres out of dummy half. That was loose from the Finns. Great run, Smith, to get to the 20.
DCE, that wasn't in his job description. Well done. And Billy Smith last week ran for 220 metres. He's in form.
Nathan from Waverley texts, double movement is the dumbest rule in the NRL. If defenders can't prevent it, it, then it deserves to be a try. Thanks for your thoughts, Nathan. 0467 920 222 is the number. Tommy Talau for the Roosters. He's 10 inside Chook's territory as referee Smith puts his hand in the air. That's 5. Cherry Evans with the kick downfield at the end of the set. It's taken on the first bounce by Fuller, 10 from his own line, and Trey Fuller, he hits the defence hard. He's put back midway goal line and halfway.
Does any bloke that small run harder than him? I just love watching Trey Fuller play. He puts his life on the line every carry.
And re-sign next year. There seems to be an appetite for him elsewhere, but he has no appetite to move.
He turned back a fortune in the Super League, Q. They reckon he could have had a palace over there.
Well, he's living on the peninsula zone. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's just happy at the Fins. 0 all the scoreline as once again the men in red get inside enemy territory. The tackle taken there by Knowles, 45 from the Roosters line. Marshall King passes right for Katoa's kick. End of set. He's near the NRL logo as he puts it to the skies. And once again, Talau has to come forward on that defensive left wing to make the catch, and he's tackled. Roosters have got it on their own 20. By the way, we've also got one game in the AFL tonight. It's at Cardinia Park, and for different reasons, Geelong's wearing all white tonight, very much like what South Sydney did last night. The Cats lead by a goal at quarter time. You can get that game on ABC Listen. We'll keep you up to date here. 4-1-25 to 3-1-19 to the Cats at quarter time. Cherry Evans with the kick downfield at the end of the set, finds grass, but it's tracked down and caught there on the bump by Fuller, who eventually gets beyond the 30. And he's tackled 15 from halfway. Out of dummy half, Nicarima pinches a cheap 10 metres or so. Got through the tackle of Terry Evans first time before he's met out there by Bassingthwaite and stopped on halfway. So that was a good run. As now Farnworth runs infield, and you hear the ooh and the ah of the crowd. He slipped, but slipped into a high tackle. Referee can do nothing but give the penalty to a rugby league accident, but that's what happens these days.
And defensively, there's nothing the defenders could have done, but as you said, that's the way it rolls in the modern game. But this is a really good contest, Q. 9.5 minutes in, it's ebbing and flowing, high quality, especially as we've already highlighted who's not on the field for these respective sides. There's some good players on the field. The Fins, they've got some ascendancy now, 30 out, 76 coming at the Chooks.
No score as yet, and the Dolphins on the attack, settling hit up taken by Felice Kafusi, who did play in that first game back in 2023. He's tackled 30 out. Now given on to Francis Molo, runs into the tackle of Watson, who gets some help from Fiketti to put Molo down 21 metres out. Marshall King to the right. Katoa gives it on to Fuller. Nice tackle from Savala around the hips, and Crichton up top to stop him. Fins 15 from the Chooks line. Pass goes to the left and centre field. Katoa pops it into the hands of Molo, and Francis Molo, he stops centre field 6 metres from the Roosters line. Marshall King gives it to Kafusi on a hard run line, but Lenu brings him down in company with a couple of others. A metre short last play. Marshall King to the left. Nicarima's ball to the wing, looking for Nafahu. Great defence from the first game kid. Bassingthwaite knew what was going on there. Young Rex, he makes the tackle. It's a handover, and it's only early, but the raps are big, and so far a very small sample of Rex Bassingthwaite looks good.
That was a great defensive read there by the debutant on that eastern touchline. Well done.
No score as yet, and we've travelled 11 minutes here on NRL Friday on ABC Sporters. Here's our boy Connor trying to dance his way through up to the 30. Watson before being held up in the tackle of Kafusi and Molo. Plays it to Cherry Evans, give it to White. Nafahu, White. Give him a dozen on the chuck down the middle third.
He has not touched the grass yet.
Yeah, and again, he didn't get put down there. Plays it 5 from half-play. Spala runs infield. Shapes the kick. Tiff the pass to Fiketti. Fiketti's tackled by Lemu Elu. Right on half-play. Now Cherry Evans will have to kick. It's the end of the set for the Chooks. It's a bomb to that defensive left corner. It's caught there by Tavita Nafahu. So we've got a couple of Nafahus. I know we've got Nafahu White and Tavita Nafahu, but it almost feels like you've got to give both names to determine the difference.
Suala's in a lot of trouble here, Q. He's trying to get back into the line, but he pulled up lame after he went into that tackle, and he was very slow to get up again.
Yeah, he's got a weird gait about him as he gets into the defensive line there. Farnworth's tackled short of the 30. Plays the ball to Bostock, giving infield there to Osako, who hurdled who hurdled Watson, who slipped and then got tackled. 10 from halfway, now to the left. It's Knowles for the Dolphins. Tackled in the middle of Lang Park. Referee Smith says that's 5. Still 0-0 here on a tight opening period to NRL Friday as Katoa's ball. Dropped this time by Talau. Same as Simon as previously, Billy, but he spilt that one. And that's the first mistake from the former Tiger and Seagull in Roosters colours.
Well, the opening couple of minutes, the Roosters had field position. They had a mistake afforded their way, and the try I thought was a try was taken from them. Well, now the opposite's happened. It's been a drop ball by the winger here, number 5, Talau, and this gives the Finns 18 metres out. Scrum, a great opportunity to go on the front foot. Can they break the Chooks' defensive line?
Deadlock through 13 minutes, and Jermaine Asako is going to feed this try, and they're all set open side to the left with the ball to be fed 20 metres in from the right wing. So taken off the back by Marshall King, gives it to Katoa, men in motion. Pass to the left for Nicarima, passes on to Farnworth, steps in field, beats one, running laterally across the 10, passes to Molo, great read, Crichton smashed him. Ball got out the back though, offload from Molo, kept alive to Marshall King. He passes on to Kafusi. Kafusi runs into Cherry Evans and White, and they put him down. There was a bit happening there, but in the end the Finns are stopped 8 metres out centre field. Off to the left, Katoa runs out the line. His pass is low and in behind Farnworth. He dropped it backwards, not deemed to knock on. He cleans it up, and the Dolphins back out to the 20, so lost momentum. Run from Knowles. Careered into DCE, who went backwards and under heavy contact. White's there to complete the tackle. Dolphins play at 10 metres out. Off to the right, Katoa. Outside in play. Molo dragged down by a try saver. A metre from the goal line. It was White who saved the try, but there's numbers to the left of the ruck. Katoa receives, dummies, goes himself, and Laurie Daly says, go forth from New South Wales camp, young man, and lead your team to the first try of the night.
Wow, great work by the Finns. As I touched on, they started to dominate possession, but especially field position. The drop ball by Talau was a gift that they made the most of that opportunity. The boys from the Peninsula, and Katoa was the orchestrator of that whole set of 6. You could just see like a great conductor cue. He's moving the team around. He did the inside ball, which really tested the defensive line of the Chooks. They thwarted that tackle. He then skipped to the left-hand side, the eastern side of the field, and straight away he could sense when he got the ball, he knew he had him on toast, and he used Lemuelu beautifully as a foil to show him the go, just like the great Thurston, a player I reckon he would have admired it when he was young. Show, go, scores the try. Great work, Finns. They deserve this lead.
And guess who he beat? He beat a man who played alongside Jonathan Thurston in the Queensland Maroons jersey. It was Darling Cherry Evans that was sold to Candy. Lovely dummy, and puts himself over there, Isaiah Katoa. Imagine, Billy, I know you always wore that Maroon jersey, but you get to play alongside all of those New South Wales stars. You get to train, you get to look at what they're doing. You're watching Mitch Moses, you're watching, of course, Nathan Cleary, and then you get the chance tonight to try and torture the former Queensland Maroons halfback, and that's what he certainly did there, Isaiah Katoa.
Jermaine Asako, 53 from 62 this year, and that's an elementary assignment for him, just left of the uprights. He adds the 2 points. The Dolphins 6 lead the Roosters 0. You're listening to NRL Friday on ABC Sport, live from Lang Park in Brisbane. Quentin Hull, former international Billy Moore, along with Zane Bojack, bringing you the call. Early second quarter in the AFL. It's Geelong and Gold Coast this evening. The Cats 4-2-26 lead the Suns 3-1-19.
And we need to note, Hugh, that Jermaine Asako has just set an NRL record, or equalled it anyway. He's scored in 94 consecutive games. That is a very impressive stat. He's also scored in every game that the Dolphins have played.
Yeah, and acknowledged on the big screen as well. Thanks, Zane. From the kick-off, Molo charges back. 15 from the goal line. He's defending when tackled. Now Elu down the middle third, runs into Fiketti, who was denied that first try for a double movement. He makes the tackle there with Lenu. Now play 3, and Kafusi runs again down Main Street. What we've seen of the Dolphins, as much as they've got flair and they've got points, they do the work to earn the flair, don't they? Down the middle third, as Fuller gets an offload away here to Nicarima, given to Katoa. He's running with a broken field. field. Passes to Keeley, who comes back against the grain, but runs into the tackle of Lenu and also Watson. Plays it on halfway. Marshall King gives to Fuller. Beats one at marker before being taken down by Wong. Only 40 metres out. Last play. Oh, make it a wavy fisty. So Marshall King has a run. There was an infringement from the Roosters. 6 more for the Finns, and they rumble to within a 12-metre range of the Roosters goal line off the carry of Molo. Already 6-0. Marshall King, one man to the left for Kafusi, and Finn Diesel's put down. 2 to the left of the uprights and 2 from the goal line. The Chooks are defending off to the right. Knowles through the hands to Katoa, feeds it on to Bostock. Savala's there to make the tackle with young Foley. Savala seems to have run out that issue. He's still out there, which is good news for the Chooks. Now Katoa, he tried to grab her. It ricochets off a Rooster straight back into his hand. So he chucks it out to the left, skids along the dewy turf. Now Nafahu takes it and he slips over and gets tackled. And Tavita Nafahu for the Finns. Tackled, it doesn't out. So it's now the last. So that kick from Katoa, not play that. It's a bomb to the right wing looking for Bostock. Savala there to leap and catch for the Roosters. Saves the day. And somehow, Billy Moore, the Roosters have survived there. And it remains 6-0 Dolphins with 22 and a half minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, that was great penetration by the Dolphins. The repeat set.
What was that, Billy?
Repeat set of 6 on tackle 5. But the Roosters, I thought they were on toast, but shows you what's in the club defensively. Very sound. They got the 3rd best defence in the competition. You can see how strong it makes them.
There was a bit of a rumble there, Luca, just for you. Thanks for that. 0467 920 222 as it's played there by White, who gives it back to Cherry Evans. It's now booted downfield by DCE. Fuller catches again in good field position. Charges back with the intent of Gary Jack and gets smashed by the tackle of Savala 8 from halfway. That was great footy. Now Osako has a run and gets into attacking territory. Osako plays it 48 metres out. Fuller's a dummy half. Gives it on to Nafahu. Breaks a tackle. Gets to the fullback. Ramsey there to stop him.
Try saver.
He makes the try saver 15 now, but the Roosters are at 6s and 7s here. Pass to the left through the hands. Katoa. Great hands. Lemu Elu Nikarima. Farnworth to the left corner. Farnworth in for the Finns.
They're hot tonight, the Finns. What a passage of play. Started with the fullback who puts his life on the line every time he carries it, Fuller. But so they split him up the middle. Nafu, he was brilliant, punched the hole, and then they had the overlap. But we talked about this Roosters defence, the 3rd best in the comp. They're a scrambling defence, which sometimes can make the tackles and defy the logic and defuse an attacking opportunity, but not this time. Beautiful at the last. A lot of hands, you've got to give a rap.
Lemu Elu's little catch and give.
The left edge back row, you're right, catching game. His back was to the defensive line. Caught it offloaded to the 5'8". Nikarima, who's played a great passage in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And Herbie Farnworth sealed the deal. What a try by the Finns. They are on fire tonight.
Well, look, this is the thing you've got to say. 7 players out. Yes, it's a lot of star power, but it's a lot of misses, isn't it, in the defensive line, because you've got to put a bloke beside a bloke who hasn't defended next to him previously. And Herbie Farnworth, he's the best centre in the game, regardless of who you got up against him. But you've got to remember, last week they didn't concede a point to the Raiders. They won 26-0, and already we've been going 20 minutes and they've conceded 2 tries. That was such a great play there by Lemu Elu. He had Rex Brathin's weight really on his hammer, and he was still able to get his pass away, and Herbie goes over for his 6th try of the season, 60th of his career, Q.
And how will Jermaine Osako go here with this sideline conversion attempt?
I'll back him in.
He's left wing side for the right-footed kick. And he's done it with aplomb yet again. Conversion for Osako. 2 from 2 for the Dolphins winger off the kicking tee. Of course, former Titan, former Bronco. He's got a few, and heading to the Storm. We sort of saw that signing and thought, interesting. He's just a pro, isn't he, Osako? 12-0 Dolphins.
Dead set. First one there, there's something like you. He's a pro.
This is the first grade football pro.
And you just, I had no qualms saying he's going to kick that. From the side, he can't get any harder. It was on his favourite side. But right now, the Finns are red hot. The Chooks defensive line is cracking because the way the Dolphins play so erratic in certain areas. They win the middle and then they've got strike power across the park, but they're destroying the Chooks down Main Street.
Just on Osako, Q, just before you go around the grounds, can I just quickly say I spoke to a couple of Storm officials during Magic Round and they had smiles on their face like you wouldn't believe as Osako kept knocking over the goals during Magic Round. They thought, how good is the winger we're getting next year?
Yeah, Molo had another strong carry off the kickoff, and just on that, Wayne from Mildura on the text. He says it'll be a relief next season when Storm have a reliable goal kicker. Osako will be their first, and Cameron Smith. I think Pappenhausen was pretty good. But anyway, thanks for your text, Wayne.
The only person that didn't believe that Pappy was any good was Belly.
Finns got to halfway. Katoa with a bit of a shallow bomb at the end of that set. Bostock though leaps and catches it. Right-handed flick to the wing. Bounces to Osako. He gathers. He sells Candy to get around two. Gives it to Bostock, who's flat-footed. Has to kick it. It's on the last and a dribble on the ground. And fielded by the Roosters. 5 from the goal line, but they almost created something from nothing there. Young Rex Bassingthwaite was in the way to ensure he got on the end of that grubber, as now Billy Smith has taken 15 from the Chooks line, 18 and a half to the break, and the Finns lead at 12-0.
What a great passage of play. Bostock, who's come back after a long injury. Wow, what a player he is, and how good is he going to be as he gets more game time week in, week out.
What about that flick past Billy, similar from Billy Moore to Greg Florimo at North Sydney?
I wish I could have done one like that.
Nafahu White plays it for the Roosters. They're on the 30. Infield goes for Ketty. And again, I can hear the Roosters fans thinking, yeah, what about that first try? Well, to the letter of the law, it was a double movement, so he can't award it. DCE from inside the 40, his kick almost as a 40-20. Very well handled out there by Tafita Nafahu to tap it in the field of play and then regather his crumb before being taken 5 from the goal line. That was a deft piece of play to a very testing kick from the wily old DCE. And now the Roosters man up in defence. Brighton's there to tackle Osako, yet to get to the 10. But there's space for Bostock. See that? The third play was the cheap one. They worked hard on the chase in the first tackle, but Bostock up to the 20, and now Keeley almost to the 30 on the next carry.
Yeah, some great carries. Those last two you said, that's what's basically hurting the Roosters. The Finns are making ours down the middle.
As
another good carry, Gilbert.
Out off the bench, Tommy Gilbert, his first run, 5 from halfway as he stopped. End of set, Katoa near the NRL logo with a bomb downfield, which is caught by Talau. Left edge for the Roosters, 15 from his own line. Kick return gains 10 upfield. And the first time Rooster, Tommy Talau, taken 20 in from the western side, midway goal line and halfway. Reece Foley now receives. Shout out to you if your family and friends around Townsville listening to Reece Foley play his first game tonight. Former Queensland under 1958.
Thank you, Iggy Park.
Oh, is he? Another Ignatius Park?
He is.
Product.
Scotty Prince.
Okay. There's a few from up there as forward goes Wong. Tackle 15 from halfway. Now Butcher's out there for the Chooks. That's Nat with that carry. Taken 8 from halfway as he plays the ball there to Uella, who's on the field as well. So a few changes run by Robinson to the right. Ramsey gives it to the edge for Smith. Runs into Farnworth, who's there to make the tackle along with Nafahu. And that's 5 for the Chooks. They're out on the right and 38 metres from the Dolphins line. End of set is a DCE kick. A bomb from Cherry Evans. Fuller takes it despite Ramsey charging at him. That was a great challenge for the football and a great catch from Trey Fuller. 5 from his own line. 16 minutes to the break. Dolphins lead 12-0. It's NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
Both custodians came together. What a contest. Trey Fuller, the little man, was able to get the better. But geez, Cody Ramsey made it difficult for him.
Thanks for your messages on the text. We'll get to a few in a moment. This game's good quality though, isn't it? You think there's a dozen of these two teams' best players not playing tonight, which probably shows you why they're in the top contenders of the competition, as Katoa once again with his boot to it, inside the 40. This one's pretty much straight to Talau, who chucks it infield immediately to Ramsey. And Ramsey, the fullback for the Roosters, will run it back over the 20, and he's met by the defence before getting to the 30-metre line. Cody Ramsey, centre field to play it there for the Tricolours.
Oh, look, Bill, the Roosters are slow to get back. They're starting to fatigue here. They've had a lot of tackles to make in the middle.
Yeah, I had to put a little bit of a wrap. Hopefully it's not a commentator's curse. The D of the Finns, they're missing players we talked about, but that's where they've improved in 2026, especially the last 4 or 5 weeks, is their defence.
Again, it gets to Nafahu wide in the middle of the field for the Roosters. He's taken 9 metres inside Chook's territory. 12-0 the scoreline. Dolphins in front, 15 to go in this first half. Nat Butcher now on a run. One man to the right of the ruck. Taken on 5 in the middle of Lang Park. Last play here for the Chooks. Savalas rushed at and tackled in the act of kicking by Donoghue. Ref says that's okay. Once again, Fuller catches it and he runs back up to the 20. It doesn't matter whether it's Queensland Cup's Redcliffe jersey or the NRL Dolphins jersey. He just plays footy the same, Trey Fuller. As the Sarko's rolled over the top of young Foley, who's hurt, and the game is stopped.
He's got his head in the wrong spot here, the young player.
So,
he's not in a good way, Q. He went down, and look, they're trying to hold him up, but his legs are very, very weak at the moment.
yeah,
His head's on the wrong side.
classic head into the temple into the hip. He does wear headgear, young Reece Foley, but he is going to be undergoing a head injury assessment in his first game of the NRL, and I would suggest from the images that we saw, as much as he's talking to the trainer right now, but
He brings the ball back to the Sarko with plenty of firepower.
yeah, and limp as he went to ground for a moment. So that's at this stage. Well, they're leaving him out there.
They're letting him go back to the defensive line.
Oh, really? No, and this is what the Roosters do to slow down the game. And now the referee says, no, you got to go off. Yeah, we know they're the best at it, taking the letter of the law to every nth degree. But look after the young man. That's just silly. You got a kid playing his first game. Don't muck around with that. That's just dumb from the Chooks.
I got something else for you, Q. I can tell you the NRL has twice chastised football management of the Roosters for their orange shirt trainer being on the field too much. So they are pushing the limits in both ways.
But that's dangerous and that's disrespectful to the young man and his family who are playing his first game of footy.
Yeah, I can see your point. 100%. He should have just came straight off. Shouldn't have even been a debate.
I gather it'll be Cat 1 and he won't be able to play. Anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. What do we got? 14 minutes left in the game in this first half, and the Dolphins lead 12-0 as Katoa from 5 inside his own half kicks downfield. It's a high ball which is caught by Bassingthwaite. 15 from his own line, 5 in from touch on the right, but the kick reception committee is there to put him down, and he's make it 20 from his own line. Now Billy Smith receives the ball, runs infield, gets put on his back. Smith is midway goal line and halfway at that southern end of the field that the Chooks have been defending. So Junior Tupou is out there now, so he's been injected. Nat Butch has been injected, and Benaiah Iwello have been injected from the bench for the Chooks. So 3 of the 4 used. Now on the left edge, a run from Nat Butcher taken, but they've got 6 more here on the ping. So a fresh set for the Roosters to go into attack. They trail by 12 points to 0 as Iwello takes a run. Taken 45 metres from the goal line, the Finns are defending. To the right, DCE gives it to the inside line of Siwa Wong. Tackled 38 metres out. Played to Iwello, given to the left for Watson. At the line, gives it to Savala, then on to Crichton. And Angus Crichton's got 3 around him. He's tackled 18 out. This is building as a good set for the Chooks on the attack. Chuck back to right and centre field for Savala, running across the 20. Gives to DCE to the right edge for Wong. Puts the little stutter step on Farnworth, but Herbie puts him down. 1-on-1. 5 in from the right. Only 8 metres from the goal line. 12-0 Finns. End of the set. Cherry Evans bombs for the in-goal area. Well, Ramsey had a free leap at that. He got a touch, but it was batted away by Bostock. And over the dead ball line, goal line dropout coming up.
Yeah, lost forward by the Roosters, so batted over to kill the playoff. Good D by the Finns, but that's the first time in 20 minutes we've seen the Roosters down the Dolphins' end of the park, asking a few questions.
Foley Cat 1, Q. Foley Cat.
And does it underline my rant?
Absolutely.
Correct.
We need to be a little bit more respectful than that, don't we?
Oh, it's obvious.
Yeah. And
Team Hull, we're behind you, mate.
I'll just go back to calling the play. Forward rolls Ray Stone. He's out there. So we've had Gilbert injected, Stone injected, and Donahue as well off the bench for Christian Wolf. Off to the right, they're on the attack, the Dolphins. 12-0 up already. Fuller on a run. Gets taken down by the sliding defence of Savala and also Talau. Played there to Bostock. Passes infield to Katoa. He chips in behind the line at the end of the set. Ramsey leaps and catches well. The Roosters fullback diffuses the danger. And the Roosters have the ball 10 from their own line as Junior Tupou runs up to the 20, Billy.
Zano touched on it. Fatigue setting into the Chooks. Their defensive line has stopped coming up there, and the Finns just rolled down the park.
11 minutes left in this first half. The try scored by Katoa and Farnworth. 12-0 to the Dolphins. NRL Flado and ABC Sport. Nafahu White keeps going forward, though.
Yes.
And he's tackled a dozen from halfway. Plays it there to Yuelu. Past left and centre field through Watson. Onto Savala. Given to Ramsey. Ramsey tries to get through the tackle of Katoa. Katoa gets some help from Keeley to put him down. On the NRL logo, 5 inside Roosters territory. Last play of the set. Savala's rushed at but gets a good purchase on the right boot downfield. Fuller has a fumble backwards. Cleans up his own work in a very calm manner a metre from his own line and tackled 15 from the Caxton Street Ingo.
Well, they looked to amp up their defence here. They need a mistake out of the Finns, the Chooks, to get some really good field position.
10 minutes left in this first half as it's played by Nafahu, 20 from the Dolphins line. That's Tavita Nafahu. We've got Nafahu White now as a part of the tackle on the run of Bostock. Now Marshall King gives it to the right for Asako. Oh, Savala goes reeling out of that tackle, and he's in trouble.
He got a hip too, Q.
Same player, Asako, said he carries the ball back with such speed and power, but he's great on his feet, and as a defender, he can move. He stepped and he's run. He's moved about 2 metres, so
He's got the shoulder.
the tackle zone's really hard to judge sometimes, and he comes on you faster than you think, and you're right this time, it's basically a head collision.
Oh, no, I think it's a...
It was a ricochet.
Yeah,
it was
pinball.
Yeah.
It was the tackle there of Tommy Talau who actually pushed Asako into the head, the shoulder into the head of Savala.
I don't think it's quite as bad, this one.
So he's back in the defensive line.
He brings the ball back with such speed and power, Asako. Defensively, you've got to be on your game to tackle him.
Exactly 10 minutes left in the half. And the Dolphins now get play back underway. Given to Gilbert in the middle of the field. Taken there by the defensive Yuelu. Finns with it, 5 inside their own half. Now Nicarima kicks downfield, end of set. Out to the defensive right wing. Rex Bassingthwaite takes it. The 19-year-old boom kid. And he's tackled 20 metres out. Ralph, our ever astute producer, has sent me a message about Bassingthwaite as next carry taken up to the 30 by the Roosters. Hold on. Cody Ramsey's going to be ordered to leave. No, sorry, Hugo Savala leave the field to undergo head injury assessment. So Rex Bassingthwaite apparently is the first Rex to play in the NRL era. The last Rex was Rex Turp, who played 39 games for St George and Illawarra, i.e. when they were different entities, in the early 90s.
I played with the Rex Wright,
Okay.
the Bears, great Rex Wright, but I think he played country rugby league as well, but he played for the Bears, Rexy Wright.
And Bassingthwaite is also the longest single-barrelled surname in the NRL era.
Oh, there you go.
Probably just more than Fasua Malaawi. But that's a single-barreled name. The Polynesian apostrophe is not
Mark.
Nwanganetawaza. Well, I'm just going with what's written in front of me here. That's a very good point. Shall we question the last part of that trivia? We shall. Bomb downfield at the end of the set from the Roosters. They get another set here. It's been knocked on for the Dolphins and into the hands of the Chooks. Junior Tupou's tackled. He's only 5 metres out. Ball played there and a blindside dummy half scoop from Yuelu. Tackled 3 metres from the goal line. Watts is in at dummy half, and they've got another wavy fisty here, so another 6 more with a pin thing in the background. Pass to the right for Cherry Evans. Given on to Nat Butcher, who stands in the tackle and eventually crumbles 9 metres from the Dolphins line. Just left of the uprights. 12-0 to the Finns. To the right, Cherry Evans gives it on to Fiketti, but he can't get through. 3 defenders there, led by Marshall King and Gilbert to stop him. Plays the ball, Yuelu. Oh, passes it along the ground to the right. It's a forward pass, cleaned up by Nicarima, and the end of that Roosters opportunity with a loose pass from Benai Uwelu at dummy half.
Chook's ball, though, I think they're saying it was a
Was it
loose pass.
touched by the marker?
No,
Nicarima knocked on.
it was just a bad pass, but Nicarima knocked it on, so I think the Chooks get the feed here.
Well, or did it take a touch from the marker reaching around?
I think they done out the ball just slipped out of his hands. It was passed backwards, and then Nicarima, unfortunately, he got hold at first, but he knocked it on.
So, blindside Uwelu, outside in play. Smith next to the scrum, almost got through, but Farnworth makes a very good tackle. And that was very cunning from the Roosters, but Farnworth read it. Now White is tackled 5 metres from the goal line, right under the black dot. Liuelu to the left, Cherry Evans gives it to Watson, gives it to Ramsey, taps it wide, into Talau, Tommy Talau running infield, he's tackled a metre out. Quick play the ball to Watson, gives it on to Crichton, Angus Crichton with 3 around him, and he's not going to give the offload. He'll take the tackle 2 metres out. Uwelu sweeps it right in centre field, Cherry Evans 10 out, he gave it. Medicare ball to Fiketti, who slipped into a bone-rattling tackle from Donahue. Now to the right, it's given through Cherry Evans onto Wong. Siwa Wong runs infield and just gets grabbed onto by the tackle of Lemu Elu. Only 5 metres out. Right edge, last play Roosters, they're yet to get on the board. Give it to Cherry Evans, grubber for the in goal, fielded by Katoa before it gets there. Izzy Katoa on the end of that, saves the day, he's tackled a dozen from the goal line.
That is why the Finns are going to play finals in 26. It's their defence. That's the difference this year.
6.5 minutes left in the first half. 2 tries to 0 to the Dolphins. It's 12-0 to the hosts. You're listening to NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
Cat 2 for Savala, Q.
Cat 2 for Savala. Okay, so he's done for the night too?
No, Cat 2 undergoing HIA test.
But they're still doing the work on him, and we wait to hear for the assessment. So forward goes Bostock, tackled 42 metres out. End of set, Katoa with a bomb to Bassingthwaite's wing, and the young Lloyd down the right side, he catches it 15 from his own line.
That was such good defence there by the Finns. They threw everything at him, the Chooks. Well done, but good work. Another strong defensive effort here again by the Dolphins.
Ramsey's got it, and he's taken just beyond the 20. Bassingthwaite, 16 letters. Nawonganetawaza, 14 letters. For Asua Malaawi, 13 letters.
Thank you.
I should have never doubted it.
Fuiaki, 12 letters.
Yeah, good on you. Connor Watson's got it here. Gets the Roosters over halfway by a metre. There's 5 minutes left in the half. Still 12-0 to the Dolphins. Nat Butcher down the middle third, taken by the tackle of Stone and also Gilbert. Now it's Donahue. Now given to the right. End of set. Cherry Evans bombs from 40 metres out, and Trey Flory just catches that again. He's tackled 8 metres from his own line and plays the ball. He's just what a blessing for Christian Wolf to have Trey Fuller there, knowing that the hammer's going to be around for basically all origin that he's fit for. High tackle here from Nat Butcher on Farnworth. Penalty Dolphins, which will give them a free trip downfield.
You know what I reckon, Bill? I reckon Trey Fuller can sniff a premiership. As much as he might want to go and get bigger money at other clubs, I reckon he knows this Dolphins team's going somewhere, and having played so much in that jersey, particularly at the lower levels, you would hate to leave and then see them win the cup.
It means so much to him, you're right, Zano, and good luck to him, because so many players, they don't see it that way. I'm really, really excited for him that he wants to stay loyal, so to speak, but Herbie Farmer, that's the second time he's carried it into the line and got a penalty. Just, he's such a hard bloke to tackle. The defenders, you can just see, they panic when he gets near them.
4 minutes left in this first half. Not a huge gain on the kick downfield from the penalty, but nonetheless the Dolphins once again get into attacking territory on the carry of Gilbert. Centrefield, he plays to Marshall King, given left to Nicarima. Feeds the inside line of Farnworth. Got an offload away to Marshall King. He has a dart, got tackled by Uwelu, but he offloads as well to Katoa. Gives it on to Stone. Stone to the 20. Fends away from Ramsey. Watson comes to save the day, and Watson makes the try saver. 8 metres from the goal line. Roosters on the back foot again to the right. Gilbert, his pass is intercepted by Tommy Talau, and then he's tackled immediately by Asako. That might have been a try saver from Asako. 80 metres from the line he's defending. Nonetheless, it's happening all over the place here, and the Roosters now have the ball on their own 30 with 3 minutes to the break. As Nafahu White chugs down the middle of the field. I reckon there's still points in this first half, Billy. We got 3 minutes left. We've only seen 2 tries, but just got to fill in new waters. To the right, it's Cherry Evans. Gives the pass on to Smith. Out to the right, it's Bassingthwaite over halfway. To the 40. He burns the first defender. Up to the 20. Pass infield. Got knocked down by the Dolphins defence, and then Cherry Evans, was he taken out trying to grab it? No, it's called a knock-on from the Roosters.
He's asking the question, DCE. He wants the referee to analyse that. What a passage of play.
What about Trey Fuller's intercept? He knocked it down. He saved the try, Billy.
Yeah, great job there. They first put a hold of him. Katoa opens up the Roosters and then saves the day with, I think, as you said, try-saving tackle. They go down the park. Trey Fuller diffuses a very dangerous situation. Actually, it was
Marshall King got the...
He's been on fire too, Marshall King, but Bassingthwaite, he put a good bit of toe to the metal and burned a few players there, but unfortunately for him, the Finns were able to defuse it and they actually get the ball back to the Finns. Good play.
And to think that these two clubs contribute to Origin more than any others. This has been an exceptional,
high quality
Origin period club half of football.
Yep.
When the Roosters are missing 7 and the Dolphins are missing 5, it shows you probably why these two teams are among the contenders in 2026.
They've got great systems in their club.
Yep. Oh, almost a little drop there. Donnie, who had a fumble but caught it before knocking it on, he slips over and catches it, and Uelu makes the tackle. And Katoa says, let's get out of here. Inside the 30, he kicks downfield, and it pitches kindly there for Junior Tupou, who gathers it for the Roosters, runs upfield and taken 10 from halfway.
That was tackle 3.
And, yeah, they just wanted to get down the other end. And now rushing in defence. Good tackle there made by Keeley on the run out of dummy half, but no great gain. Now Crichton near the NRL logo. He's held up. There's 60 seconds left in the first half. 12-0 to the Dolphins. White puts it under his right wing. He has done a power of work in this first half. And Nafahu White tackled 41 metres from the Dolphins line. 10 in from touch on the left. Uelu passes infield to the right to Watson. Shows it. Gives it to Cherry Evans. Second man to the right. Ramsey's cut out to the wing. Was just in front of young Rex with the longest surname in NRL history. And it goes beyond his fingertips and over the touchline.
Long name, not long enough arm, but there you go. They created the overlap. Ramsey, beautiful pass. Just unfortunately, the young winger it was probably too hard, but he did get his hand to it, and he was in the clear from there. But great D again. The Dolphins' defensive structure is outstanding tonight.
20 seconds to the break. Dolphins with the ball, leading 12-0. As Keeley's tackled 5 inside his own half. They're going to do something cute here. Or almost a obstruction line run from Donahue. Tries a miracle offload. Knocked forward.
Won't matter.
But the time clock will expire, I'd suggest, before the Roosters keen to get their heads locked in. And time is off with 1 second.
You should have heard the bench queue. They were yelling out packet. So you got Crichton and Fiketti in the front row. You got Watson in the second row with Uelu. So I don't think they're going to try and do a field goal here or do something. They're going to come up with a play here with 1 second to go.
I think they'll go a 2-point field goal.
Can anyone kick it that far?
Probably not. DC's going to feed it, and I would have thought he's the guy to kick it, so maybe not.
He hasn't got that far in him, though, has he? With his boot? Maybe Savala, but he's off the field. Well, he's the one with a really long boot. And so, last play of the half. Roosters... Oh, hold on. No, not yet. Referee said you can't break that early.
Ramsey's going to kick it for sure. The way that was passed to him and the way he set himself.
Okay, so Cody... Yep, Ramsey from 51 metres out. Good effort. Oh, it hits the padding of the post on the left side, a metre below crossbar height. Ricochets into the hands of Asako, who takes the tackle, and that is the end of probably the best 40 minutes you could expect from two teams that are contributing a dozen players to Origin. That was excellent football from the Dolphins and the Roosters, and it's the locals leading by 12 points to 0 at halftime. Izzy Katoa and Herbie Farnworth, the try scorers, on 14 and 19 minutes, with Jermaine Asako kicking both conversions. That's all we've got for you as far as the scoring's concerned, but young Reece Foldy's out of the game with a Cat 1 HIA. Further assessment to come on Hugo Savala, who's out with a Cat 2 for the time being. And Billy Moore, boy, yeah, that's glass half full. You can't take any glass half empty out of that 40 minutes of rugby league. If you do, you're hard to please.
Yeah, you're right. We can always focus on who's not there. I always talk about this, but who is there? And we have seen a fantastic game of football. I've said it multiple times, I'll say it again. The defence of the Finns is what is different in 26. The 3 previous campaigns, we saw sprinkles of stuff that was great, but there was always an Achilles heel, and that was they couldn't defend their mistakes. Well, this year's iteration, this team is different. They defend so well inside out. They support and cover each other. The number 7's having a fantastic game. Katoa, he had some great touches. Jerry Marshall-King, outstanding. Multiple good players. For the Roosters, they were, in my opinion, they're going to try and take it off them early on, which I still question the double movement there, but so be it, move along. But they haven't been down the Finns end much since then. When they do get there, they do look dangerous. DC's having a big game, and a couple of their young stand-in players are doing fantastic. Now, Phil White, 106 run metres. I think he's had about 8-10 carries. He's been on the ground. He's been tackled actually physically on the ground twice. I see he's a premier player, and he is outstanding. This game, while the Finns are in front 12-0 and deserve that lead, the Roosters are not out of this. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. The second half's going to be outstanding.
Billy Moore with you, NRL Friday on ABC Sport. 12-0 to the Dolphins. Meanwhile, it's halftime at Cardinia Park in the AFL. Geelong playing Gold Coast tonight, and the Cats have a comfortable half-time lead. Geelong 8 goals 3-51. Lead the Suns 3 goals 5-23. You can hear that on News Radio if you're in certain areas, or on ABC Listen. Look for the red and blue ABC AFL button there. Speaking of ABC Listen, that's going to be the home of the Women's T20 World Cup, which starts tomorrow morning in the early hours with England taking on Sri Lanka. That's right, it's the other World Cup. It's the one that we've got a realistic chance of winning. So Australia's first game is, later throughout the weekend. But just a bit of breaking news on what's been a very newsy lead into the second test between England and New Zealand. So obviously no Ben Stokes for this second test, and Ollie Robinson following the altercation with the rugby player. Joe Root to captain England in that second test, even though Harry Brooks the vice-captain. And anyway, this is a surprise. Kane Williamson, the Kiwi great, has announced his retirement from international cricket effective immediately. Immediately. Kane Williamson has retired from international cricket. He's finished as the Black Caps' all-time leading international run scorer. Nearly 20,000 runs across all the formats. He's not going to take any further part in this test series in England, and it also obviously means he won't be coming to Australia when New Zealand play 4 tests here, as the only 4 tests of the international summer of cricket in Australia upcoming.
Effective immediately.
So I don't have any further detail as to why.
There usually is the big why.
So
hopefully everything's okay.
If we get further detail, we will bring it to you. But that is huge cricket news. And just a reminder, look for the cricket button on ABC Listen with that Women's T20 World Cup starting in the early hours of the morning with England taking on Sri Lanka. And Brett Spriggs in the studio and very diligently has just put a quote on our production screen. And I quote, "I thought about it for a while, but over the last few days it's become clear now it is the right time," the 35-year-old former skipper said in a statement. Continue that quote. "I've always felt a strong drive and hunger for international cricket, and I take pride in knowing I've given it my all in every match I've played for New Zealand. Continuing with anything less wouldn't be right, and I feel fortunate to step away on my own terms." I immediately go to the retirement of Damien Martin for Australia after the Adelaide Test mid-Ashes series, which then led to the debut of Andrew Simons in the Test team. So, that's the last time I can think of as such an established player retiring mid-Test series. Damien Martin did that. Anyway, 12-0 Dolphins over the Roosters. half-time on this busy NRL Friday on ABC Sport. More from the Cauldron after a trip to the newsroom.
ABC News with Noni Edwards. US media is reporting that Washington and Tehran are nearing a peace deal and are expected to sign a memorandum of understanding around the G7 meeting next week. Bloomberg is also reporting that Switzerland is being floated as a possible location for the signing as soon as Sunday. Earlier, Saudi Arabian state media published details of the final draft agreement, which it reported including a 60-day extension of the truce, the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, negotiations over Iran's nuclear program, and the lifting of sanctions against Iran. Back home, there's a large police presence outside a One Nation fundraiser in Melbourne following a last-minute venue change today. One Nation says the event was moved from a restaurant in Moonee Ponds after police raised concerns about planned protests. However, Victoria Police says the decision was made by the restaurant itself and that police didn't receive any threats against the venue. A small number of anti-racism demonstrators are protesting outside the new location. Party leader Pauline Hanson and MP Barnaby Joyce are both due to address supporters at the event. Federal opposition leader Angus Taylor has congratulated Britain's Defence Secretary John Healey for quitting his job over a lack of defence funding. In his resignation letter, Mr Healey said he was left with no other option after not getting as much money for defence as he wanted. Mr Taylor has backed the shock resignation and says Australia also needs to boost its spending on defence.
Good on the Secretary of Defence in the UK for resigning and saying that defence spending needs to be higher. Males should be asking for defence spending to be higher in this country, because the truth is that AUKUS cannot be funded on the current budget.
Police have revealed 11 unsolved homicide and missing persons cases have been assessed for possible links to serial killer Ivan Milat. The head of the New South Wales Homicide Squad has told a parliamentary inquiry task force AIR reviewed about 50 matters beyond the 7 backpacker murders Milat was convicted of. Detective Superintendent Joseph Dewey says investigators categorised the cases by how likely they were to be connected. Criminal experts have told the inquiry it's very hard to believe Milat did not offend between an alleged rape in 1971 and the first backpacker murders in 1989. A fire broke out at Wellington Airport today, forcing evacuations and flight diversions. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesperson says crews had attended the fire alongside the airport's own fire brigade. Wellington Airport says the main terminal building was evacuated and no injuries were reported. Authorities haven't said what was on fire or what caused it. A new smartphone app has been released to support Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women during their pregnancies. A collaboration between the Menzies School of Health Research, the Avant Foundation, the Australian Preterm Birth Prevention Alliance and Monash University, the developers hope it will transform maternity care across the top end. Program lead and First Nations obstetrician and gynaecologist, Associate Professor Kiana Brown, says they consulted mothers while making the app.
And they said, we just need consistent information that's for us, that we can identify with, that brings in our cultural knowledge, and it's relevant to where we live and where we work. And basically, that's how it came about.
The family of a Victorian athlete has thanked the community for its outpouring of support following her death on an overseas holiday. 25-year-old sprinter Gemma Stapleton's being remembered as a talented and dedicated athlete who left a lasting impact on the people around her. She died while holidaying with her family in Thailand. A fundraiser for the family has closed after raising more than $100,000 in less than 24 hours. Gemma's younger brother Joel Stapleton says she was always there for him.
I'd just like to thank the community for everything you guys have done for our family as well. We've had an outpour of messages and donations and we're just so overwhelmed, and thank you.
The top of the ladder Fremantle Dockers are returning to training today in the AFL after their mid-season bye, and captain Alex Pearce has welcomed the premiership buzz around the club. The Dockers are favourites to win the flag and supporters are excited at the prospect of their long trophy drought ending. Pearce will play his 150th game against Geelong next Thursday night and says while fans have every right to be excited, the players are remaining in the moment.
That's what footy's about, like getting behind your team and supporting it, and it's great that our fans are having a good time and riding the wave. Let them do that. We're very conscious of not trying to ride the wave.
Australia have been the dominant force in women's cricket for nearly 50 years.
Australia has done it again. Australia clinches the T20 World Cup.
But without a current World Cup title, they face no shortage of challenges in their bid to return to the top. New Zealand, the current T20 champions. England, the constant threat. South Africa, a young team on the rise. India, a new force in the game.
Could be a catch. Yes, taken by the captain. Harmanpreet Kaur. India win the World Cup. Listen to the noise.
Can Australia find their best against the best and claim their 7th T20 crown? ABC Sport brings you every game of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, live and uninterrupted on ABC Listen. Just look for the cricket button.
Hi, it's Zanro. Excited that a new generation are taking on a classic series. 6 filmmakers, 10 countries, 1 winner.
What could possibly go wrong?
Race around the world. Streaming now on ABC iView.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Off to the right, Katoa, outside in play, Molo dragged down by a try saver, a metre from the goal line. It was White who saved the try, but there's numbers to the left of the ruck. Katoa receives, dummies, goes himself, and Laurie Daly says, go forth from New South Wales camp, young man, and lead your team to the first try of the night. The Roosters are at 6s and 7s here, pass to the left, through their hands, Katoa, great hands, Elu Nikarima, Farnworth to the left corner, Farnworth in for the Finns.
They're hot tonight, the Finns. What a passage of play.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
No two clubs have contributed more players to the Origin group for the MCG on Wednesday night, but boy, aren't the Roosters and the Dolphins putting on a show. I hope you're enjoying NRL Friday on ABC Sport as much as we are. Welcome back to Lang Park in Brisbane. Quentin Hull, my name. I'm calling with former Kangaroo Billy Moore with Zane Bojack down on the touchline. Just the 2 tries in the first half. Dolphins lead at 12-0. Roosters without 7 Origin players. Finns without 5. But boy, it's been good footy, and it's the Finns who hold that 2-0 lead at the break. Your texts continue to be welcome on 0467 920 222. Getting a couple too around that incident where young Reece Foley, the first gamer out of Townsville, got knocked out and then was left on the field for a moment, which seemed to be a little, it just didn't seem to have the right smell about it before he was then immediately ordered off the field. And a couple of your texts here. G'day to Chris, who texts, mate, the Roosters are the best at looking after players with head injuries. Silly of you to think otherwise. Don't throw the whole organisation under the bus because of the error of one trainer. Thanks, Chris. One from Harry, though, from North Star. He says, couldn't agree with you more on the young debutant with the Cat 1. How is the game meant to progress onwards if the clubs don't follow suit? Fine incoming? Question mark. Cheers from Harry. And Claire texts, read your rant, Quentin. The Roosters player was held by the Dolphins players. They wouldn't have done that if he was, in brackets, on the same planet. Thank you, Claire. Yeah, it was an interesting moment, and you can only call it as you see it. But certainly the way that the game is going, the outward sign of every little bit of responsibility being taken needs to be as transparent as the responsibility being taken. Is that there's another way to sum that up. What, and this is it's a 21-year-old playing his first game of footy.
Yeah.
Like it's just a really smelly look for the game when a young man obviously goes down with the Cat 1 conditions and the trainer says, go back into the defensive line. Only for the referee then to say, no way, take him off.
It's really good by the referee, Todd Smith, where he just jumped in and said, no, that's not going to happen.
And everyone's got to try and make a call.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to, judge and jury, but at the same time, footy clubs have got to be better than bending the rules to suit gameplay when these rules are designed to do... They've got nothing to do with gameplay. They're about safety of young men.
Correct. We're 100% right.
As the game restarts, Dolphins lead 12-0. They kick off. The Roosters have got the footy. And Nafahu White, who Billy was dazzled with in the first half, he takes the first carry. What were his first half run metres, Billy?
10 carries, 119 metres, 63 post-contact, 27 tackles.
He had a hell of a half. And here's young Bassingthwaite, second carry up to the 20. The Roosters are now running to the southern end, so away from the Caxton Street end as the rain starts to come down on this Friday night. Angus Crichton runs out to the left edge and has taken 10 in from touch on the left, 15 from halfway. Given to Fiketti. Gains 10 metres, one man to the right of the ruck. He's still 15 in from the left wing. Uelu's at dummy half, passes to Cherry Evans, puts his right boot to it with a high kick downfield. Fuller, it almost slipped through his grasp, but he catches it on his chest, on his own 20, stopped short of the 30. As the Dolphins run it up, let's get down to Zane Bojack, who I think is still on the touchline, finding his wet weather gear and giving us the whispers from the rooms.
Absolutely, Q. Firstly, Hugo Savala failed his HIA. He won't be back tonight. The Roosters were proud of the fact that after they conceded the 2 tries, they didn't let another one in, despite the fact they were fatigued. They want better market defence. That's where they felt the Dolphins were getting them, and that's exactly what Christian Wolf said. He said, keep targeting the middle. You guys get your 5th tackle options right. He goes, you guys can go on and win this game.
Good on you, Zano. Zano on the touchline. Stay, well, dry-ish down there the best that you can. It's super heavy, but it's wet enough. Gilbert plays it 40 metres from the Roosters line into the set for the Dolphins. Katoa with a shallow bomb, leapt out and caught brilliantly by Ramsey, but he's driven into the deck by Cody Nikorima. And Ramsey, the Roosters fullback, plays it 12 metres from that Caxton Street in goal area. 0467 920 222, by the way, is that number. If you want to get in touch on the text, 0467 920 222. Billy Smith.
Quietly, have we had a Dolphins game this year, Q, where it hasn't poured down? Seriously.
Billy Smith taken 10 metres from his own line. Now it's with the hands of Crichton, and Crichton is stopped just short of the 20. Uelu comes into dummy half, passes open side of the right for Nat Butcher. He gains a couple of post-contact metres there from Nat Butcher, just short of the 30, as referee Smith says that's 5. And DCA puts a torpy downfield, a spiral off the right boot, pitches on the 30, rolls towards the touchline eastern side, but Fuller just seems so calm. He watches it, takes his moment to gather it, and is tackled. Now one-on-one strip attempted by Crichton. Fuller played the ball there. It was Sarko. Crichton ripped it out of his hands, but couldn't regather it. And ref says play on, picked up by Nafahu, and the Dolphins have still got the ball.
Great kick selection there by DCE. He's trying to hammer the fullback for the Finns, Fuller. He was decided that time to use the spiral. Of course, a little bit of an issue. I think he'll keep doing a few more spirals to the number 1 for the Finns.
Donahue passes left through Nikorima to Farnworth. Smith makes a good tackle around his ankles, puts him down. Dolphins are still 5 inside their own half, hard on the left edge. Back to right in centre field for the run of Donahue. He's got 3 defenders around him, Kurt Donahue, but backs his way into the Roosters' territory by a metre or 2. Late to Marshall King, given right for Katoa. He's pointing at one point, going passing to the other, gives to Nikorima, passes to Keeley, breaks a tackle, up to the 20, draws the fullback, and passes to his fullback. It's Trey Fuller scoring for the Dolphins. But a little right side run from the Finns. Oren Keeley, great way that he worked Ramsey towards him, because he knew he had Fuller charging on his right shoulder. One fullback drawn and the other in support. Trey Fuller scores and the Dolphins go 16-0 ahead.
Zai Katoa, I touched on the orchestrator, the conductor. What about that? You caught it in his play, the way he was pointing. He had enough time with the ball in hand where he points back on the inside. You go there, had no chance was he going to go that way. It was a lovely way. He was able to deceptively keep the line without coming up too quick, which then bought time for his 5'8" to put Keeley through. Great late Keeley, good line run back inside. Trey Fuller, like all great fullbacks do, backs up down the middle. I love watching the Finns when they're on fire in the attack zone, if they are right now, it's pretty to watch, Zane. There's not many prettier sides than the Finns from 30, 40 metres out.
First try of the season for Troy Fuller, and what a star he is, despite the fact that he's a backup fullback for the Finns. And can I say this, out of all the halves in the competition, are there two halves in the same side with his hands as good as Isaiah Katoa and Cody Nikorima?
It's a big call, Zano. Asako, midway, right touch and upright, slight angle, and the kick is good. 3 from 3 for Jermaine Asako, and the Dolphins lead the Roosters 18-0 on NRL Friday on ABC Sport. Around the grounds, AFL second half at Cardinia Park is underway. Geelong playing Gold Coast. The Cats 8 goals 3-51 lead the Suns 3-6-24.
Another player got to give a rap to, Owen Keeley. I think it's his 5th game of the season.
Yep.
He's a good player. He just can't make this team, and often he can't even make the bench. That's the depth of the Finns now as they're in year 4 of their existence, and Keeley's an example of how good and how hard it is to make their starting team.
Gilbert runs the ball back off the kickoff in conditions that, well, they're slippery underfoot. Is that rain still coming down, Zano? Or
it's the mizzle again.
Mizzle again.
I put my umbrella down, but there's still a little bit of mizzle.
I'm a little bit, it's optically deceiving looking to the top of the grandstand at the start of the half. You don't know whether it's the smoke from the halftime fireworks or the mizzle, as once again, Dolphins making pretty good ground out of their own territory. There's your man Keeley. He's heading to the Melbourne Storm. He'll be a handy pickup, Oren Keeley, for the Storm. Now one man at the right, Trey Fuller, taken 5 from halfway. And Fuller is feeling at the bridge of his nose or his eye. He's trying to shake it off. He's slow to play the ball here. And the referee says, come on, just play it, and he does. Marshall King passes blind side right for Katoa at the end of the set. High, deep kick downfield. Tommy Talau takes the catch, defensive left side for the Roosters, and runs over the 20 before being pushed a metre or two back by the tackle of Nikorima and Donahue. Roosters start this set about 22 metres from that Caxton Street end. And again, three Dolphins defenders waiting for the run there of Talau. Great defence. Now Bassingthwaite. He runs into Nikorima and he gets pushed back.
Their line speed, kid. Look how quick they come up. They're sprinting up.
And now goes to the left and centre field. It's White taken. 15 from halfway. Uella says, let's get out of here. From dummy half, he kicks downfield. That's a good kick.
Yeah, great kick.
Just didn't get it towards the touchline angle. It's gone all the way in goal. Taken by Tavita Nafahu, who just gets into the field of play by half a metre. Great chase from Bassingthwaite and Smith. That was a great kick from Uella. Now a little 5-metre gain out of dummy half from Fuller. Herbie says, I'll have a go out of dummy half. So Farnworth runs infield. And, well, the kick was better than the chase. The chase from the Roosters a bit slow to get there. And once again, the Dolphins from their own line, well, they get beyond the 20 with relative, inverted commas, ease. Asako next play. Midway goal line and halfway. Now given to a run of Donahue, who's been good since getting out there. And he wrestles free to play the ball. 10 inside Dolphins territory. End of the set. Katoa inside the 40. Kicks downfield. It won't threaten the touchline. Talau takes it. Left corner. 10 from his own line. Runs up to the 20. Meets the defence. And again, it's midway goal line and halfway for the Roosters to start this set. 8 minutes played second half. Dolphins lead 18-0 as Ramsey goes on a little blindside run, only to be knocked down.
The line speed is where you're seeing the difference in the second half. The Finns are flying up, making it so hard for the Chooks to go down the park, whereas when they've got the ball, the Finns, they're rolling down the field.
Brighton shot the ball on an inside feed there from Terry Evans, picked up by Gilbert of the Dolphins. DCE makes the tackle, but there's a mistake from the Roosters, and they might be in strife here. 18-0. It's only early second half, but a mistake from Crichton, and now Farnworth on a scheming run. He's tackled only 28 metres out. Plays the ball to Marshall King. Pass to the right. Donahue gives it on to Stone.
Is that Isaiah Katoa down in the back play?
It is. We'll keep an eye on it as Stone's tackled. Centre field 20 out. Played to Marshall King. Given left for Katoa. Kicks early in the set to Nikorima. That is a thing of rugby league beauty. The bounce for Nikorima. It was if it was custom made. And he goes in to score. and the Dolphins are en route to a 6th win in a row. It's 22-0 kick to come, and Isaiah Katoa is orchestrating this with the manner of a footballer beyond his years.
We've used the word conductor tonight. He's doing unbelievable. In the background, I thought it was Katoa, but it's actually Jermaine Asako. So interesting to see who kicks this ball, but that is silky smooth. Zano mentioned about these two halves having the best hands in the game. Well, they've also got other strings to their bow, and for Katoa, what a great, well-positioned little chip kick. Beautifully timed run by his sidekick, Nicarima. Wow, that is perfect. It's indefensible, actually. And Cody Ramsey caught out. Well, not really, because no one, even the great Tedesco, would have been able to defuse that situation. Great work here by the Finns. You can just, as you called it, the Chooks are on the rack now, and the 10 minutes of the second half, the gap between the two teams is laying stark.
Okay, a few things to note. Firstly, that's the 50th career try for Cody Nicarima. You reckon he wasn't a happy man? The former Warrior, former South Sydney Rabbitoh, former Brisbane Bronco. He's a very happy man to bring that up off his halves partner in Isaiah Katoa, who's about to take the kick because it's a wrist injury for Asako. He's getting his wrist strapped. Hopefully he's able to continue.
Well, he's walking into the huddle at Katoa, but he's not over the kicking tee here. So it will be Katoa, who's only had one kick at goal this year. He's missed it. So tries now left of the uprights. He kicks that one though. 1 from the kicking tee for Isaiah Katoa. Everything he touches is turning to gold. No wonder he's on the periphery of that New South Wales Origin squad. 24-0 to the Dolphins, and we've still got half an hour left in the game. Around the grounds in the AFL, mid-third quarter, Geelong 8-5-53 comfortably lead the Suns 3 goals 7-25. Quentin Hull, Billy Moore and Zane Bojak with you NRL Friday on ABC Sport.
This is where things get ugly for the Chooks, because this is where the Finns are unbelievable. When they get in a sweet spot in attack, they do not let up, and their defence is so good tonight, so they're going to keep finding mistakes in this Chooks machine, and whenever they get them, they usually make you pay.
Gilbert with the carry off the kickoff, and just a reminder that yes, we are around Origin time, and yes, the Roosters are contributing more than any club to Origin, but it's 7 Roosters and 5 Dolphins.
It's a lot.
So it's not quite even, but
it's good as.
It's, you know, we are getting a very good assessment of what's underneath the top tier for these two teams tonight. Donohue's over halfway before being dragged down by the tackle of Nat Butcher. The Dolphins, who can score points when they're in a mood, and they look in a mood tonight. Katoa with the kick. It's a bomb which will come down 20 metres out. It's caught by Bostock, and then he loses it. Taken by the Roosters. They've got it. Referee says no, penalty Dolphins.
Yeah, Bostock was taken out without the ball. Talau has basically got out, jumped, and then tackled Bostock all in one play. It's pretty hard to do that, Zano. But he's obviously been tackled by Talau just as he was about to catch the ball.
A really good call from the referee too. Talau was originally going for the catch and then changed his mind to make a tackle because he realised he couldn't get to the catch.
Yeah, he's juggling, wasn't he, Jack? Trying to get the ball back, and that's when he got tackled. But here's the tap, and here goes Keely Q.
Who's going to be held up about 15 metres out, slightly right of the uprights. 24-0 to the Dolphins over the Roosters. Given left, Donohue feeds it to Gilbert. Gilbert runs into the defence of Nat Butcher and also Crichton and Uelu. They make the tackle. Marshall King passes right through the hands of Donohue onto Stone. Ray Stone towards the upright, but put down 8 metres out centre field. Marshall King out of dummy half. Siwa Wong was asleep. Marshall King says thank you. I'll take that opportunity. 28-0 kick to come. That was Wong from Siwa, and Marshall King made the most of it.
Touche. Wow, he's a star, Marshall King. He sometimes gets lost in the noise. But we talked about earlier in the year where they weren't quite scratch. And what was wrong with them? And I said the 9. They needed the 9 because Donohue and Plath were filling in, and they do a great job. But they're not natural 9s. Natural 9s do that, Q. Wong was out of place by half a metre, and he made him pay. You think about how many times he's touched the ball tonight? The one time he has a chance, he takes it. Outstanding. And that takes the pressure then off the 7, the 6, the 1, all the other things happen. It just shows you the machine that is the Finns. They're finals bound because there's not a bad player in that team and they're still missing 5 players.
Okay, so the good news is Osako is going to take this kick, Hugh. Currently it's 28 points to nil from right in front. They're going to go to 30 points to nil here, the Dolphins. How's this? The Roosters in their last 4 games have brought up 30 points. Can you believe it? And so now they're going to be doing, this is unbelievable. Sorry, I should say the Dolphins in their last 4 games have brought up 30 points and they're going to do it again. Absolutely remarkable. And the other thing that I need to say is that Marshall King, he completes this side, as you said, Billy. If you're the Warriors, if you're the Panthers, if you're Manly, watch out. Here comes the men in red from the Peninsula.
Osako from straight in front. He's back in the kicking duties. He's kicked the goal. There is the asterisk of there are 7 Roosters players missing, but as we said, there are 5 Dolphins players missing, and they just look like a pretty complete footy roster at the moment, the Finns, and they lead the Chooks 30 points to nil on this NRL Friday.
Especially without notice, we talk about the fact they've scored over 30 points the last month or so. How many they conceded, the Finns? That's the era that I think is special.
Only 14 to the Cowboys last week. They conceded 22 to the Raiders in Canberra when they beat them. Only 10 to Souths here in Magic Round. 12 to Canterbury Bankstown the week before. So only once have they conceded more than 3 tries.
You know the other thing, they're headed for 6 wins in a row here, and before that they lost by 1 point to the Panthers and 2 points to New Zealand in New Zealand. I mean, these guys are in this premiership right up to their nostrils.
As once again they've got the ball, the Dolphins, running it upfield, and it's Stone just beyond the 30. Ray Stone plays it there to Marshall King, gives it to Keeley, runs into the defence and put down. So Toby Rodwell's out there. Congratulations to him. And he's on debut tonight. Makes the 3rd Rooster to make his debut tonight in the NRL. Big tackle there from Leniu. Crushes into Donahue, who's a bit sore playing that on halfway. He plays it anyway. End of set. Katoa kicks downfield. It's caught by the Chooks out there, and the tackle is taken. So what have we got? We've had Reece Foley, unfortunately out of the game. Cape One HIA debut. Rick Bastingthwaite debut, still out there, and now Toby Rodwell's name.
Son of Brett, who I know Billy would have played against. I think played Origin against you, Billy.
Yes, he did. Great player.
Younger brother of Tom, who was a scratching from the larger squad. When was the last time we had 3 debutants in the same game?
Highly rare in the NRL.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all that often. Lenu's got it. Roosters are 8 their own side of halfway. Still 25 minutes left in the game. The Chooks, they trail 30 to nil. Booted downfield at the end of the set by Cherry Evans. Taken comfortably by Tavita Nafahu. 10 from his own line. He's happy to accelerate into the defence, is the Dolphins winger. And tackled short of the 30. Nikorima's in a dummy half. He's got Fuller off his right shoulder. And he is, what a backup he is, Trey Fuller. Taken beyond the 30. When you think that the Hammer regularly wears that number. Now Farnworth runs infield down the middle 3rd. Good run from Herbie Farnworth. Cherry Evans and Watson have to work really hard to tackle him, and they eventually do. Farnworth then steps off the mark before playing the ball to Marshall King, gives it on to Gilbert, straight back into the ruck defence there, and he's put down without great gain. Just a metre the attacking side of halfway. Fins to the left. Katoa holds it up, gives it Nikorima on to Farnworth. Steps through Smith, up to the 30, gallops through another, draws the fullback, passes, and in goes Lemu. Elu for another Dolphins try. This is becoming a Friday night carve-up. The Dolphins lead the Roosters 34-0.
Well, we said when they're in a mood, they're the prettiest team in the competition to watch. And that's what we're seeing here. This Friday night, the Chooks will go away from this game going, well, we're all missing players, but they're still a good side, the Finns. Herbie Farnworth, if he's not the best centre in the world, I don't know who is. He's outstanding. There was no reason for him to be able to make the space he did, but he did. He always does. Every carry, he's dangerous. And off the back of the players on the inside, the 7 and the 6, they create a little bit of an opportunity. Lovely little pass there by Nikorima, but He gets on the inside. I think it might be Billy Smith.
Yeah, he got through Billy Smith.
Carved him up, and Smith's been informed, as I touched on earlier in the call, but Lemuelu was the beneficiary of the great run there by the Pommy centre and one of the best Herbie farmers.
Put this on notice, Zano, as well. There's 23 minutes to go. We know about that stat. If you concede 50.
Oh, mate, I was just about to say that.
So they're about to go to 36, the Finns, if Osako kicks this.
I'd put an asterisk beside that. I could make, if I do get beat by 50, I wouldn't count this game. Because you're missing 7.
I know that, Bill, and I know we got new rules and all those sorts of things, but it's still undefeated, that statistic. If you concede 50 points, you can't win the comp.
Osako, midway, left touch, and uprights, 21 metres out. For 36 nil Dolphins. The strike is pure. The flags are up, and the Dolphins lead 36-0 with 22 minutes to go.
Well, they can't make mistakes, the Chooks. That's what's going to kill them. Every time they make a mistake right now, the Finns, they're ruthless. And it doesn't matter where they are in the park. And I often say they're better off attacking 70 out than 7 out. But right now, I don't think the Finns, so I don't think that the Chooks can defend either option. Their line looks tired, it looks fatigued, and they lack a bit of cohesion because of the fact there are so many players missing.
Mid-third term, AFL, Geelong 9-7-61, lead Gold Coast 5-7-37. So it's a 4-goal lead for the Cats there. You can hear it on ABC. Listen, kick off once more, and the Dolphins once again running it up from that southern end. This time, Nafahu with the first carry, then a loose pass infield, but even the bad pieces of play, well, they're not costing him. Jumped on there by Donahue. It was a loose pass. He cleans it up. Now Gilbert takes the Finns again beyond the 30, giving 4 or 5 close contact meters. Tom Gilbert plays it to Marshall King. Pass was maybe a bit dubious to Donahue. Ref lets it go. Donahue tackle. 5 short of halfway. Oh, they're just going to the other end so easily. Now Fuller off the right side of the play the ball. He plays it 45 out last play. Blindside right for Katoa, who will bomb. And Ramsey says, it's Bostock's ball. He taps it backwards. And then Keeley knocked it on into Junior Tupou.
He wants to challenge here, Bostock.
I think it was a knock-on.
He's querying on his captain to have a look at it, but he's decided against it. But they put the bomb up now, the Finns, and they want to contest everything because they just realise that the backfield of the Chooks is a little bit of a rattle.
And John from Perth says, with respect, what's wrong with the Roosters being called the Roosters rather than the Chooks? Well, we alternate.
Or the tricolours, hey?
Yeah, you need
or
that.
Or the boys from Bondi.
Yep. At least it's not someone complaining about me using the term Finns, which sometimes often happens when I call the Dolphins. Yeah, just all a part of trying to ensure we don't, it's a repetitious thing sometimes. We just try and break it up a little bit. The tricolours, the Roosters, the Bondi boys, Connor Watson's mob, off they go, over halfway. Watson's tackle, 10 in from the right. But thank you for your text. Always love those little bits and pieces around the game. Here's a little run for Rodwell on debut. Almost got through. He's wearing headgear, Toby Rodwell.
Just like his dad.
Yeah, just about to say that. 4 years the junior of his brother Tom. End of set. Bomb goes downfield. 10 from the Dolphins line. It's let bounce to young passing Thwaite, who will score in his first game in the NRL. A fortuitous bounce for the teenager.
Herbie's saying he's touched the ball.
And referee Smith.
He's very resolute, Herbie. They're saying this is no try. Let's watch to see how it ends up.
Herbie's claiming that there was a Rooster's fingernail on.
Roosters kick chase is onside, supporting the on-field call.
So Billy Smith sort of was there, and he put his left hand out for it. Did he touch it?
It could be.
First replay's inconclusive.
I think he does, but does it go backwards, Q? I don't think it goes forwards.
Well, Chris Butler's going to work this out for us in the bunker. Rex bouncing for He'll be hoping that it passes muster.
There's a clear gap between fingers and ball. There's no touch from Billy Smith.
Well, here we go.
It's a genuine contest that we're playing on.
The young man from Dubbo. He was waiting for the bounce that came his way. And on debut wearing the number 17. He'll always remember the southwest corner at Lang Park. He gets there. He plants it. That's a try for the young man. The first Rex since the mid-90s. The longest single-barrel surname in the game. And it's a try for Rex Racing Thwaite, and the first of the night for the Roosters.
Well done, young man. They always say, Zano, never let the ball bounce. And that's why, because you just, rugby league balls do strange things. Usually the worst thing that you actually can expect. That's normally what happens, and that's exactly what happened to the Dolphins. The ball bounced back into the hands of the young winger. Well done.
Only 19 years of age, and there's 20,687 here to watch him, Billy. But by the time he's 50, it would have been 50,000 Blank Park. And here's young Toby Rodwell with his chance to score first points, Q.
21 out, a metre in from the right, just misses to the near side. That would have been a nice stat too. We're on to when would have been the first time that a debutant scores his first try with a debutant scoring his first points to convert? Well, he didn't quite get that nuance with Rodwell missing to the near side, 36-4.
I know Ralph's over everything. Brad Talon, I don't think anyone could find the answer to that question.
I've just seen some grey matter come out of Brad's ears. That was such a puzzling question. We're on to him tonight. 36-4, 19 minutes left in the game. But good on Rex Bathingthwaite, who's looked really, really good. I got a text before asking whether he's related to the former Neighbours actor and Road Trader singer in Natalie Bassingthwaite. I'm not sure. I don't think Natalie Bassingthwaite's from Dubbo, though.
Brad Talon's running here. He must have an answer to one of these questions. I'm not sure which one.
Meanwhile, Roosters have got the ball off the kick-off. Play two after the 20. And now left edge. It's in the hands of Junior Tupou. And he's tackled. Out on that left. Pass back to centre field. They threw the hand. White to Rodwell. Now to Ramsey. To the right edge, given to Smith. But Nicarima and Farnworth are there to make the tackle. And they put him down. 10 inside. Roosters half. Back to left and centre field. DCE passes on to Rodwell. Puts Crichton through a hole. Crichton over halfway to the 30. Fuller with him. Crichton's pass is a dart to the edge. It's at the feet of the young man out there, but he towed it forward and slides into the in-goal area. That might be a try.
The touch judge has said no try. He's shown a bit of a...
Junior Tupou was able to tow it forward from what was a pretty average pass from Angus Crichton.
He almost gets there too.
And Tupou picked it up and then slid onto his back, and the dewy turf took him across the touchline before he could roll over and plant the ball.
Played 2 games for the Dolphins last year. Junior would have loved to score against his former club, and we mentioned that 50 scoreline. Well, all the play's been the Roosters since that 36 was posted, Q, so maybe they're fighting back because they realise that they've got to provide some attack on side of all this defence they've had to do.
Well, that was a great run by Angus Crichton. Haven't seen much of that in tonight's game, but you always remember how good he is to make a beautiful break down this left-hand western touchline.
And the pace of Nafahu gets to the 30, kicks infield. What a kick! Brad Schneider's on the field, and he swan dives into the in-goal at the Caxton Street end, having not broken a stride to gather that kick from the bust of Tavita Nafahu. Is there a prettier team in the comp when they get going? The Finns. And that's 40 points to 6, kick to come.
Wow, as I said, they'll score from anywhere on the field. The Roosters have a nice little purple patch. They score a try, make a great break down the far end of the field. The Dolphins don't care. They immediately go on the tack, and the ball goes through the hands. Katoa, beautiful long ball to Farnworth, catch and pass, as sweet as you can believe. And Tavita Nafahu puts the ball on the toe. What a kick off the outside, puts it back into the middle of the field, and the ball bounces absolutely perfect for Brad Schneider. As you said, Q, didn't break stride, bolsters over, scores a fantastic try. That's how you take defence, put it into attack, and tear a team apart. The best in the game, the Finns.
Now, a good text here as well, as we were talking about the imminent 50 here for the Roosters. Of course, you did the game with Brett Sprigg up at Dolphin Oval, Foz's first game. Manly put 50 on the Finns, so they're already out of the running.
Well, yeah, looks like it, doesn't it? I forgot about that.
That stat will be used until one day it will
be disproved.
Will be disproved. Maybe 2026 might be the year.
What about that?
You could probably still put a case for these two being right in the fight. no matter that stat. Asako, well, he could do this in his sleep, knocks it over from straight in front. 6 from 6 for a Jermaine Asako. Dolphins 42, Roosters 4, with still 16 minutes left in the game. And the Neil Diamond sing-along coming along. I know it's not the Everest tomorrow, Zano, but it's our version of the Everest. It's Stradbroke Day tomorrow. I always think of the Everest when I hear this song.
You know what, Q? We're on the same wavelength, because as soon as I heard that song, I thought they'll be singing that tomorrow out at Eagle Farm for the Stratty. Can I tell you, Egan Butcher's about to come on the field. He's the fifth reserve activated as a result of those 2 HIAs for the Roosters.
Thanks for that, Zane. Bit of a shallow kick-off, but Molo's back out there, and he says, give it to me, as Nafahu took the catch, and Molo's tackled 20 from his own line. He's putting together a very consistent campaign, Francis Molo, in 2026. Has he had a better year? Interesting. Up to the 30 goes Lemu Elu, and now under the wing of Knowles, he rolls up to within 10 of halfway. Knowles will play the football to Schneider. One-handed pick. Oh, given to Fuller, who saw a little hole around the ruck, but Rodwell makes the tackle. Quick play the ball, Fuller against Schneider. One-handed pick up. Katoa gives it to Donahue. Passes to Molo. Molo's knocked down. Only 23 metres out. Good tackle there. Made by Smith and Crichton to the left. Given to Katoa. Pass to Nikarima. It's the last they run it. He's tackled it. Passes to Farnworth. Herbie Grubbers for the in goal. He's got Ramsey there to stop him. Cody Ramsey gathers it under the black dot and now runs to halfway. 40 to go, 30 to go. He's being chased, but Cody Ramsey dives and scores in the left corner. An unbelievable rugby league try.
No, he did it. Nafahu got him, Q.
Let's go to referee Smith. Oh, he says no try.
Defeated Nafahu, absolutely shy of a gun. Beautiful angle. He cuts the angle across.
Cody Ramsey.
Stops it.
Oh, he managed to push him over the touchline. Half a metre from the finishing post.
Tackle of the year.
Oh, that's
unbelievable.
Remember Tom Dearden against, was it Broncos?
Selwyn Cobbo.
He got cut. That's the best tackle at Lang Park since Dearden's.
And what an angle he runs. The old hypotenuse. He cut across, and he knew he couldn't get it to him until he was the last couple of strides. He just kept accelerating towards him. What a brilliant tackle. What a brilliant passage of play.
And you know what? The scoreline 42-4. If you don't get him, it doesn't matter, does it? But that's the commitment that Tavita Nafahu shows. A player who's desperate to get in this side and play more footy with all those superstars out, including Selwyn Cobbo on Wednesday at the MCG. That's the sort of squad depth you need to win a comp Q.
Yeah, that's well summed up, Zane. It's an action of a guy who's only playing first grade for the 3rd time this year.
Can't get in.
Yeah, can't get in, but gee, I reckon Christian Wolf will just remember that. So, score remains 42-4. Mind you, Ramsey took that on an angle underneath his black dot and then wheeled all the way out to the far touchline before
probably around 130-40 metres.
Here goes Fuller. Pass was down the right wing looking for Bostock, and a desperate dive to intercept from Talau. He stops it. He had to dive to catch it, so he couldn't run away. But the Roosters have now got the ball.
They could have been a try saver because they were deep in the backfield if he didn't do that. Well done.
You know, one of those old-fashioned westerns that takes about 2.5 hours before the shootout? Well, now all the bullets are flying.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything is happening.
Anything can happen from here.
Yep. Roosters can't win the game, but they're intent on going down fighting as forward goes Nafahu White. He's tackled for the Chooks, 35 out centre field. Off to the right, through the hands of Nat Butcher to DCE to Ramsey. Feeds the inside line of Smith. Runs laterally across the 30. Got Crunch, got an offload to Butcher. He's hurt. Smith. Butcher keeps going though. He's still on his hands and knees. And referee says penalty Roosters.
Can't quite work out what it's for.
Billy Smith.
He got hit off the ball, I think.
Well, no, it's a cannonball tackle against Donahue, third man in. But Billy Smith, he got absolutely drilled by...
Is it Knowles?
Yeah, Morgan Knowles.
Didn't miss him, you're right.
After he passed.
Yeah, a little bit late there potentially, but this is a cannonball. We get put on report.
Well, I don't know. I definitely heard the impact of Billy Smith going down. That was a really solid tackle.
The penalty for the cannonball.
Yeah, cannonball from Knowles. So Smith's still on a knee in the hands of the trainer 30 out. Meanwhile, 10 metres away, first carry taken forward by Butcher. He's stopped now to the left. Rodwell gives it to Cherry Evans. Pass to the edge. Quick hands from Ramsey out to that wing, but again the right side defence of the Finns is there to stop the run of Tupou. Pass back right in centre field. Evans gives it on to Butcher as Butcher loses the ball, and it's picked up by Schneider of the Dolphins. Gives it to Fuller, who's tackled.
Good defence again by the Finns, Stu, and I keep harping on it. They absolutely are a different team defensively. They made up actually one of the very few rare errors coming out of the end, but defensively how good they are, how much they defend for each other. They up and they slide, they talk, they point. It's a beautiful, seamless defensive line.
So Wayne from Mildura says the Roosters had 3 debutants score tries in 2018. Sean O'Sullivan, Paul Mamarovsky, and Pawasa Fa'amusa.
At the Gold Coast, I did that game too.
Yeah,
I did that game.
But did a rookie kick the goal?
No, that's right. We didn't get that. Just hadn't practiced that one for a while. Pawasa Fa'amusili made me sound a bit silly, didn't it?
I did a good job. I'm not touching it.
Now, the Roosters have got a penalty off the scrum. This is rapidly becoming more rugby league entertainment than a battle for 2 points, because the 2 points has been decided.
I'll tell you, the rugby league entertainment factor is outstanding, though. It's been brilliant to watch.
Have we worked out how many letters are in Farmasili as well?
Righto. Scrum 10 out for the Roosters. And they go to the right side, and it's good to see Smith's recovered from that heavy hit. He takes the run on his tackle, 10 to the right of the uprights, and only 5 out. It's directed back to left and centre field, and Lenu goes on a fending run before Big Spencer's put to turf. Only 5 metres out. Now to the left, Uwello gives it to Cherry Evans, who's a bit flat-footed, tackled by Katoa, but he swings through the tackle, chunks a pass out the back to Ramsey, given to the right edge for Wong. Siwa Wong with 3 and 4 defenders around him, and eventually tackled, 10 in from the right. Only 6 metres from the Dolphins line. Play to Uwello, pass left and centre field for Cherry Evans, gives it on to Nat Butcher. He's put down. 8 metres out, slightly right-hand side of the uprights. Left and centre field, the pass to Cherry Evans on to White. White on a barging line. Great defence to hold him up by 2 and 3 Dolphins defenders. Only half a metre out. Play to Uwello, chucks it left. Rodwell has a run. He's tackled. Got rid of the pass to Crichton. It's the last. Crichton, they got a wavy fisty right on the last. So Crichton says, OK, I'll take the ball to deck. Fresh set Roosters, 5 metres out as Uwello passes infield to White, runs into the tackle of Kafusi and Schneider, and they need help when they get it from Molo as Big Nafahu will play it. Only 2 metres from the Dolphins line. Uwello passes right, Rodwell gathers it, rides above, Rodwell reaches out and scores on Taboo! Toby Rodwell! Well done, young man. He scores a try in his first NRL game. The 2 debutants are the only 2 tries for the Roosters through 70 minutes of this one. First Bassingthwaite. Now Toby Rodwell scores. 42-8 kick to come.
Great work by the young stand-in half. The defensive line of the Finns is coming up at unbelievable speed for this late in the game with a scoreline like that. They're robbing the attack of field position and buying themselves a bit of time so they can then adjust and slide. The only problem with that, you've got to make your tackles, and they've been doing that all night, but unfortunately this time they weren't able to contain the young halfback. He was electric on his feet, a little bit of a sloppy pass. He adjusted to that and then showed great speed, great strength, and reached out and scored a fantastic fantastic try on debut.
And should kick his first conversion in the NRL to convert his own try. And the flags are raised. 42-10 with 8 minutes to go, Zane.
And look, he's fair dinkum. He looks just like his dad. He wears the headgear to pay tribute to his dad. He's a product of Newington College in Sydney, of course, grew up in Wollongong, mentored by no less than Mitchell Pearce. He lives with his brother, Tom, and I tell you what, he is going to be some player, Billy. There's so many raps on young Toby Rodwell. I know they've got Sam Walker and they've got DC at the moment, but it won't be long and this bloke will be in the halves of the Roosters.
Yeah, that try had a lot to it. Great, he nearly dropped it, beat the tackle coming through of Kurt Donahue, and then showed great speed and strength. Well done.
Bit of a wobbly kick-off, but Bassingthwaite takes it on. Lenu on one of those rib-rattling charges up to the 20 on the kick return.
And talking about halves, Katoa's off cue. He's been given an early mark with them leading by 32 and 8 minutes to go.
Okay. Well, you know, we still wait to see Mitchell Moses train before Wednesday, so I reckon he'd be heading back to Laurie Daly's camp to be around the Blues squad for Origin 2, which of course you can hear around the country here with us on ABC Sport on Wednesday. Crichton up to halfway, left side, here's Rodwell. He got crunched, but the pass got away in time, and good defence out on the right edge there. Bostock getting in the face of Ramsey to stop the fullback of the Chooks. 45 out, last play. Cherry Evans with a bomb. Fuller comes forward to catch at 15 from his own line, and Trey Fuller stopped there 20 metres out. So post Origin 2, the Dolphins go to Campbelltown to play the Wests Tigers, while the Roosters welcome the Sharks to the Sydney Football Stadium. High tackle Roosters here. Not going on report, but a penalty to the Dolphins.
Yeah, good point. You talk about the run from here the next month for the Finns, Tigers, then Warriors, then Knights, then Sharks. Obviously the Tigers, you think they should have those guys measured, but the following 3 weeks will look pretty tough.
The Warriors game will be something else here.
Yeah.
They always fire up, don't they, Q? We remember that final round match, wasn't it, before the Warriors played their prelim final against Panthers in back at about 23?
Yeah, they rested all their players, and the Finns went berserk.
Here to watch no one.
Yeah. All the Warriors fans turned up. They thought, well, we're playing next week regardless. And that was the year they made the preliminary. 23. Yeah. And
they're a better side now than they were then too.
Yeah. Dolphins have got it on halfway. Oh, Molo with an offload here. Second phase. Forward goes Knowles. He fends away from Rodwell. Only for the tackle to be made by Egan Butcher. 21 metres out. Once again, front foot ball for the Dolphins. Schneider to the left. Nicarima gives to Farnworth. Watch out. Passes here for Tafita Nafahu. Goes in the left corner for another Dolphins try. Tafita Nafahu makes it 46-10. Kick to come, 5.5 to play.
Lovely play by the Finns. A little bit of forwards passing into play there. Molo, lovely ball to the lock forward Knowles, who's played tough tonight. Carried it, punched a hole in the Roosters defensive line, and then they go to the left. They come down this western side of Lang Park, and Schneider, beautiful pass, goes deep to the line. Nicarima on to Herbie Farnworth, silky smooth, throws the ball right out the front of Tavita Nafahu. Had a bit of work to do. They probably should have stopped him, really. Had 3 guys he beat, but as all good wingers do, they find their way across the try line. Great way for the Dolphins. I was going to say for the Dolphins to finish. There's still 5 minutes to go. There's plenty of time for them to create more magic. They're beautiful to watch.
8 different try scorers. 8 tries, 8 different try scorers. That's
another part of their strength, Q, is they've got strike across the park. It's such a well-balanced team, so well coached by Christian Wolf, and I think it's a fait accompli. They will play finals for the first time in their history in 2026.
So the nervous Roosters fans around that sort of 50-point curse. You've got about 4.5 minutes to wait, Roosters fans, in that regard. If Asako converts, it'll be 48-10. He converts most. This one, though, as the drizzle returns, is a tough assignment for mere mortals. He's pretty much better than most.
Take him in.
3 metres in from the left wing touchline. Laser-like over black dot. Oh, 7 from 7 for Jermaine Asako. Dolphins 48, Roosters 10, 4.5 minutes to go in the AFL. Final quarters underway at Cardinia Park. Geelong 10 goals, 12-72. Lead Gold Coast 6-10, 46.
Healthy problem from the home zone. You think about when all the Origin blokes come back. There's guys out there tonight to say, don't forget about me, I'm here. It's really good internal pressure inside their club for positions.
Well, Felice Kafusi couldn't make the top 17 last week. I mean, that's remarkable how strong they are. Christian Wolf said that the team against North Queensland was the strongest Dolphins team they've ever had. I mean, how good's he been tonight? He might not be there next week.
Molo to the 20 off the kick-off. Lemuelu in field. It was interesting coming here as Lemuelu's tackled midway goal line and halfway. We're thinking, okay, the narrative pre-game is, okay, so many stars out. Hold on, right side shift. Fuller gives it on to Bostock, who's taken down in the tackle by Talau. Crichton helps out. Now given to Kafusi. Rolls down the middle third. And Finn Diesel's a metre inside Dolphins territories. He plays it to Marshall King, given through Donahue to Schneider, to Nicarima. Well, he almost juggled it and batted it to the left edge, such is the confidence. It's a bit messy, but Tavita Nafahu picks it up. The other Nafahu in the game. Tackled on the NRL logo. Last play Dolphins. Schneider with his right boot kicks it high and downfield. Ramsey's well-placed defensive right corner. And the Chooks fullback catches it and will run into the defence. We'd love your thoughts in the post-game. 0467920222. I think there was always going to be an asterisk to the result because of the number of top-liners out. By the way, they do play again this year. Second last round before the finals, round 26 at the footy season, at the footy stadium.
That'll be a cracker. That could be a prelude, an early finals indication.
So we will get a legit form guide between these two. But, boy, you can't help but thinking, leaving the ground, the story's going to be more so, well, look at the depth. Look at the depth in the Dolphins squad, who have had their first 3 years in the NRL punctuated by injuries, but now they're getting a decent run, and they are looking like they've got plenty of options. Roosters kick downfield, end of set. Fuller takes it. Oh, and then almost ran over the top of the kick chase from Smith, who's had a torrid night. And he's tackled 20 metres out. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. And Asako's got it. Roosters fans hoping to avoid that half century. Asako's 21 metres from the southern end. 48-10 the scoreline. Bostock now runs it forward for the Dolphins.
You know what, Q? Nafahu might get a run next week because he's still struggling with that wrist. Asako, he might miss his first game for the Dolphins.
Well, he's played the rest of the game, Jermaine, and
he keeps feeling for it.
Yeah, but he's out there circulating. Left side shift. Nicarima on to Fuller. Passes to Farnworth. He decides to run back in field and almost got through Uwella, who clung on for dear life to make the tackle. Plays it last play 40 metres out. Marshall King gives it to Schneider. Schneider's kick in between fullback and winger. Goes into the in-goal area. Ramsey fields it for the Roosters. Gets back into the field of play before being tackled 9 metres from the Caxton Street end. You've got 90 seconds, Chooks fans. Oh, and Cody Nicarima is helping stretch out a cramp for Cody Ramsey. And I know his brother spent time at the Roosters, but that's pretty friendly, isn't it?
He was suffering cramp at the same time down the other end of the field, Bill.
Yeah, you're right, mate. They're all putting his... He's got a double cramp, I think. He's got both legs up. I reckon he's got them in both hammies.
So Cody Ramsey is in a rather compromising position with the trainer. Meanwhile, the ball's about 20 metres away from him laterally. On the other side, still 10 from the Roosters line. As Nafahu White is tackled 25 metres out.
You know, looking at the trainer in the way he was positioned there with Cody Ramsey reminded me of what Billy Moore said earlier tonight.
What, the complete sex of six? What was it? Something like that. I don't want to... Well, I've ruined it there trying to do it justice.
Dangerous place to go, stay in that one.
Yeah, exactly. Cherry Evans will play the ball, 15 from halfway. And now Spencer Leniu takes it and goes forward. Yeah, there was always going to be... Cherry Evans boots the ball downfield. 30 seconds to go. Looks like the Chooks, well, I've got about 3 tackles to make to avoid the 50-point curse entering the debate.
70 metres out. This is where the Finns are specials.
Fuller taken on the 30. Nicarima, a dummy half, gives it on to Tavita Nafahu. The fullback at the other end still can't stretch his calves, Katie Rant. There's no fullback. If they want to do something funky here, the Finns, it's given to Osako. There's 3 seconds left. He's tackled. That's end of section. And the Dolphins have won it comfortably. A dozen players missing from either side due to origin commitments. But the Dolphins have shown what they've got in their reserves, and they might need them, because at the end of the game, it's 48-10 to the Finns. And Zane, it looks like Jermaine Osako might have hurt his hand again right at the death.
Yeah, he's really been struggling with the Q. As he got up to play the last play of the ball, he was feeling for it. I've got real concerns that he might miss a game, and he hasn't done that yet for his Dolphins career. But he's still down there. I think he's in a lot of pain, Q, and yeah, I might even try and have a chat with him if I can.
Okay, we'll stay close to Zane Bojack. 48-10, the final score. Dolphins led 12-0 at halftime. They got out to 36-0 before the Roosters finally got some points. But 8 tries and 8 individual try scorers for the Dolphins. Katoa, Farnworth, Fuller, Nicarima, Marshall King, Lemu, Elu, Schneider and Nafahu. Osako kicked 7 of the conversions, a perfect 7 from 7. Katoa kicked the other, 1 from 1. For the Roosters, debutants Batsing Thwaite and Toby Rodwell scored in the second half, with Toby Rodwell kicking 1 of the 2 conversions. Cat 1 HIA for young Reece Foley. That was a sad footnote on the Roosters night for that debutant. Cat 2 for Hugo Savala. 48-10 to the Roosters, and Zane has got one of the Chooks young men with him.
I have indeed. I had to have a chat to him. He looked so impressive when he got out there. Toby Rodwell, you've made your debut in the NRL and you got a meat pie in a conversion, mate. How do you feel?
Yeah, no, I'm surreal. Shit. Yeah, can't really believe it, really. No, it was obviously a disappointing result, but yeah, dream come true, really. Childhood dream, so stoked, but really disappointed with the result.
How big of an impact was it losing Hugo Savala and also earlier that you lost Reece Foley, your other debutant as well, with HIAs? It made you guys up against it from the get-go.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the game was in the balance there when those boys were on, and it was a really good battle. And then, obviously, yeah, unfortunate that I had to come off there. But yeah, that's footy.
What's it been like this week getting ready for this match? You had 7 Origin players out. I don't know whether you knew you were going to debut. Rex, I think, got told. What's the week been like for you?
Yeah, it was just a usual week. Nothing real different, to be honest. Obviously, a big impact with all those boys there, but so many boys that can step up, and it was so good to see. But yeah, it was a good week.
All right, and just finally, how important was it that you kept them out and didn't give them the 50? Because I know that's an important stat in the game of rugby league. No Premier has ever conceded 50 in a game of rugby league.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you don't want the scoreline to get to that point, what it was anyway. So it was good to, but it is what it is.
All right, well, look, I really appreciate chatting to you, Toby. Congratulations on making your debut. I love how you wear the headgear like your dad. You're a spitting image of your dad. It's bringing back memories for me. Congratulations on making your debut, and best of luck next week if you get a chance.
Cheers, appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you, Zane. Zane Bojack down there with Toby Rodwell, who scored a try in his first game. One that he'll have all differing memories of. 48 points to 10, the scoreline to the Dolphins. If you want to get in touch, 0467 920 222 is the number. Please send us your name and where you are texting from. 0467 920 222. 8 tries to 2. Finns continue to extend their club record winning streak. It now moves to 6. They're 8 wins and 5 losses. And the Roosters are also 8 wins and 5 losses. Finns next week go to Campbelltown to play the Wests Tigers. Roosters are at the Footy Stadium taking on Cronulla Sutherland.
The last time they lost to the Warriors in Wellington by 2. The week before they got beat, they lost to Penrith in Darwin. So 6 in a row. It could have been 8. So it shows you how how good this run is by the Finns, how much momentum they've got, Q.
And good to see members of both teams taking a knee to share a moment in the middle of the field as they mill around here. And we sift through, just again repeating, cap 1 for Reece Foley, unfortunately for the young man from Townsville, knocked out and out of the game in his first game, and Hugo Savala ruled out with a Category 2 head injury assessment. So they've lost another 2 players during the game when they already had 7 that weren't there. I'll be really interested to hear Trent Robinson's appraisal, but let's get back down to Zane.
I'm down here with a man who's worn his national colours for New Zealand. He's had to wait his turn. Performance tonight. I know they were weak in Roosters side, but they were 2 spots ahead of you on the ladder, and you've almost put 50 on them.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of the boys. The boys that stepped in to the role of the Origin boys, done a hell of a job, and we spoke about that. Opportunity for these guys to come in and step up, and I thought they'd done that tonight.
You got over for a meat pie. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's just good. It's just been over score, and tonight I just got lucky, and it was good.
We marvelled in commentary about the unique communication skills between Isaiah Katoa and Cody Nikorima. They seem to be able to know what the other's going to do without necessarily telling each other. What's it like for you watching them at training and being part of that unique spine?
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty good to see. I think as a whole team we have a good connection, and you can see that in the group, and not just the group but the whole organisation. And it shows in games, and Izzy's still young. He's pretty impressive, and he just got an Origin camp, and hopefully to see him in that Blues jumper.
And of course, the other one is Hammer's gone into Origin camp, and Trey Fuller's absolutely killed it back at fullback. What do you guys feel like? You have to pinch yourselves that you got a bloke who comes in and fulfills that role so well, and he's the backup.
Yeah, it's hard to not have Trey in the team, seeing what he does. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he thinks he is, and I love playing with him. He has a heart of gold, and he runs like he's 200 kilos, but just having Hammer and him in the team, it's pretty grateful to have both of them, but it's hard, because Hammer's a great player too. So Trey was good tonight, and it's good to see him back.
And Jeremy, I've got to ask you, Trey decided to give up big dollars in Super League to re-sign with you guys. What does that mean about you mentioned the feeling in the side? That must make you guys feel great that he wants to hang around.
Yeah, it's like I said before, it's the connection and the camaraderie we have as a group, as an organisation, and it just shows what it means, why he wants to stay here. It's just this club's building something in the right direction. So I'm just so glad he re-signed and part of our club.
There's a beautiful little girl here that wants your attention. Tell us about her.
Yes, my daughter. She's my rock, and she's bossy at times, but got to deal with it sometimes.
Well, I know being a dad, sometimes you got to go and do your parental duty. Really appreciate chatting to you, Jeremy. Congratulations, and may it roll on. 6 in a row now for the Finns.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thank you very much.
Zane Bojak with Jeremy Marshall-King. Yeah, he has been such a key member of turning what was a slowish start for the Dolphins into an absolute momentum, a mid-season momentum, which has got them 6 wins in a row now, and 8 and 5.
So they must have been 2 and 5 at one point.
Yeah.
So it was looking a little bit barren for the...
Because we did the game in Darwin. Remember, that was the Nathan Cleary field goal game.
That's right.
Which, as I flick back through my... and then they lost to the Warriors the week after that
in Wellington.
Was that on Anzac Day? I think, yeah, it was the Anzac Day in Wellington. So, yeah, lost to Brisbane round 4, Manly Warringah round 5, Penrith round 7, Warriors round 8, and then beat the Storm here, who was struggling at that point in time. Yeah, remember both of them were on the losing streak when they finally sort of snapped that losing streak. Boy, aren't they going now?
Well, they completed 86% tonight, so the coach couldn't ask anything more of them. I thought defensively, as good as the scoreline of 48 is the 10 was crucial for me because they were able to repel the Roosters for long periods of time. So that was a thing that I imagine Coach Wolf would be very happy with.
Back to Zane.
I'm down here with a man who had every right to just go, oh, he's too fast, I can't get there. But Cody Ramsey ran about 130 metres and he ran very fast. But the man who put him in a touch is Tavita Nafahu. Tavita, what were you thinking, mate? You gave him about 25 metres head start and you run him down. What was the thinking?
To be honest, I thought back to pre-season and Wolfie just said it's all about effort. So I thought if I don't get on my bike, he'll probably give me a bit of a spray after.
And you pushed him into touch. Did you know straight away that you'd stop the try?
Yeah, I feel like I knew I stopped him. I thought maybe he might have stepped in, so I thought I'd give him a bit and then just put that shove in the last minute.
We said in commentary, now you can't get in the side at the moment because you've got this bloke playing Origin called Selwyn Cobbo. So is it plays like this that you can keep impressing to the coach, I'm ready to go, put me in?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all about trust. If I can show Wolfie he can trust me when like top quality players like Sally go away, I think that's the best for the team. It's all about our team as a unit.
How did you prepare this week? Because I understand, like, Isaiah Katoa didn't do any sessions with you, but you had Brad Snyder fill in, and in the end you were able to send Izzy for a bit of a run afterwards and have an early mark because you had Brad to fill in.
Yeah, I think it's all Wolfie. You know, we all prepare for the worst, and I think that's what happens when we come to this game and we got everything we need. So we prepare for the worst start of the week.
And of course, having someone inside you like the likes of Jack Bostock and Herbie Farmworth, who I'm hoping to have a chat with. He actually won the Art for Beats and Legacy medal tonight. What's it like working with those two guys?
Oh, it's a privilege. You know, me as a young fella, I think the best I can do is soak in all the knowledge I can get from them and skills. So it's just a learning thing for me, yeah.
You're a New Zealand schoolboy rugby player. What's it like being a star in the NRL, playing for the Dolphins?
Oh, I don't know about a star, but I think it's a big privilege for me to be over here and chasing this sort of dream.
Well, we reckon it's one of the best rundown tackles we've seen at this ground for at least a couple of years. Congratulations on your effort, Tavita. That was amazing, and best of luck. Hopefully you get a chance to play again.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Just his third game of the season, and he was able to score a try as well as save that one with that Cody Ramsey run. G'day to Rooster Felix on the text. He says, good call, fellas. The fact is the Finns have quite a few out too, and 2 or 3 of our most experienced players, Smith and Crichton in particular, have been found rather wanting when it counted, so no excuses from Rooster Felix on the text, 0467 920 222. Back to Zane.
He's actually having a chat to Jack Bostock, or maybe it's going to be what recipe Jack's going to do next on TikTok. But I'm down here with Herbie Farmworth. Herbie, you've got the Artie Beats and Legacy medal around your neck. Great performance by you. Great performance by the team. Firstly, what does that award mean to you?
Yeah, it's massive. Obviously, he's a legend of the game, Artie. To sort of be given a medal in his name is a great honour. So we've obviously got our Player of the Year trophy named after him as well. So yeah, we think a lot of him here at Dolphins, and yeah, it's an honour to get his medal.
Now, I was just talking to Tavita Nafahu. You're someone who's played umpteen first grade games. He's someone who's still in his infancy. What does it mean for you when you see your wing partner run down Cody Ramsey like you did?
Yeah, massive. I think everyone can see Tavita's got all the skill in the world. He's quick, he's agile, but he's a good-looking bloke. But one thing he works hard on is his game. And I think it showed there with the effort he made in that corner. So to sort of back me up there when I put a kick through and they almost scored off it. So yeah, I think I owe my coffee after that one.
Well, mate, tell me about this Dolphins team. I mean, you've been part of successful teams of the Broncos. Do you feel like you got the ability to go all the way? You're six wins in a row now.
Yeah, well, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we've got a great team here. We've got some very talented players. Obviously, Jackie Bostock being one of them coming back. He's added a lot to our team. But I think one thing we have is boys that are willing to work hard and getting better every week. So yeah, it's a very promising year for us.
Well, when Jake comes back, where does he fit in the side? I mean, you got Avarilla, you got Nafahu, you got all these blokes put pressure on you guys who are in the side.
Yeah, well, that's it. We've got a lot of quality here. So yeah, when Jakey's back, obviously we think a lot of him. I'm sure we found a spot in the team for him. But yeah, I wouldn't like to be Wolfie picking the team when everyone's fully fit.
All right. Well, look, I want to let you go. Congratulations on winning that award, and there's no doubt about it, Herbie. As far as I'm concerned, you're the best centre in the world. It's a pleasure to watch you. Thanks for chatting to ABC Sport.
Thanks so much. All the best. Thanks, mate.
A lot of love for Herbie in this commentary team. Is it there? Zano's trying to take your man love for Herbie Farmworth there, Billy more, along with Quentin Hull, Zane Bojack down at ground level as we wrap things up. The Finns winning 48 points to 10, 0467920220. 222 is the number to get in touch. And, you know, Gabbo from Cabo said, do you have to have 50 scored against you, or do you have to lose by 50 for that curse? I think it's only have to have 50 scored against you, but we don't have to worry about it for the Roosters. Well, not on tonight's performance, because it was 48 to 10 in the end. This is a nice one. Love the call. I'm trying to get back into sport. Me and my son are watching. My son said the commentary on the TV sound like they don't care, but good on your ABC sport team. Thank you.
We care.
Yeah, and thank you to Dr. Paul for your text. Incorrect, but thank you for it, and I'll register it. When you come from Wagga Wagga, your points that you make are just wrong. Billy, let's get to the wrap.
Wow, what a game. It was a contest that first half. You articulated it perfectly. For a game that was missing so many stars, the actual match itself was eye-catching, sparkled. It was brilliant. It was close. 12-0 at halftime. I did make a point. I thought that the try that was taken away from the Roosters, from my book, was a try. Anyway, move aside from that, the first half was dead level. They scored a try after 5 minutes in the second half, the Finns, and you could just see, to me, there's been a seismic shift here. They've come out and they didn't drop their momentum. The Finns actually picked up. Their line speed queue was amazing. They were sprinting up at minute 70. They were still sprinting. And you could just see it destroyed the Roosters, because the 7 players they were missing are so crucial. They could probably counteract and overcome that. But with all due respect to the guys that they had on the field, they eventually wore them down. They blew them away. And we know when the Finns get in the groove in attack, there is no sweeter, no prettier team to watch. And we showcased some wonderful attack for the Finns. But I will go back and say yet again, what I loved most about tonight was their defence. And that is why I'm resolute to put my head on the chopping block. They will play finals for the first time in 2026, and it's because of that defence. It is breathtaking to watch the improvement we've seen in the last year around that side of their game.
We can only guess when it comes to hunger. But, you know, we saw the chase down of Tavita Nafahu. And
of the year.
So here is a team in its 4th season, trying to make finals for the first time, yet the city that they occupy 24 hours earlier, what did we see from the reigning premiers?
Was there another team in Brisbane?
Oh, yeah, there is.
Okay. Well, you're so true. And Brisbane...
If you want it back to back, as simple as that, and it's obviously only the tale of this town, but when you're dealing with the reigning premiers and the newest team in the competition, and what we've seen in the space of 24 hours?
That's a really good point. And Brisbane Broncos deserve to have celebrated what was an amazing win in 2025. Right now they've got issues aplenty. But for me, it's the time now for the boys from the Peninsula to say, hey, look at us. And they are sparkling. And there were 5 players missing. And some of the guys who rose tonight, they won't be in the 19. When they're actually at their best, fully loaded up. There's some players there tonight which I thought were fantastic. You're playing Q Cup. That's all there is to it. It's phenomenal how much depth they've got so quickly. And I put a lot of that down to obviously Wayne Bennett was there when he conceptualised it. And then Christian Wolf has come on in the last, this is his 2nd year in charge.
Yep. 4th year in the competition, first 2 under Bennett.
Yep.
And they have all 3 previous have been punctuated by serious injuries by the likes of Tom Flegler, who left the Broncos to go to
Gilbert,
who left the Cowboys.
Yep.
Farnworth, who left the Broncos. Cobbo, who wasn't really wanted at the Broncos. Now back in the State of Origin team.
Yep. So it's been a well-constructed roster. They've done a great job, and as I said, they're not there yet, but I'm believe resolutely that they will be playing finals, and to do that inside 4 years is a great achievement.
And obviously all players have interesting journeys, but we didn't see Selwyn Cobbo tonight, but it's extraordinary to think that what we've seen of him in 6 months literally with a little bit of a change. There's a guy who couldn't get in Brisbane's grand final team, couldn't get in their team at the back end of last year.
Wasn't required. You're right.
No.
And the players.
And it was almost the best player in the first half of Origin.
Yeah, you're right. And the players who kept him out of the 2025 Broncos team were great players. They've done a great job. And the fact they're not going that well now is not to do with those players you're referring to. So I think that it just shows you the chemistry that is sitting in Redcliffe, where the Finns reside, has really worked. And I always say it's about when you see a player improve. We touched on who's going better at the Broncos in 26 compared to 25. Tony Staggs, you said, very rightfully, he's probably the only one that's got better. The Finns, there's 15. They're playing better. So that's a great sign the club's heading in the right direction.
48-10, the final score. You're 3-2-1. In just a moment, Billy, let's almost full time at Gardenia Park. Geelong's going to win that AFL game. There's 90 seconds left. Cats lead by 40 points over the Gold Coast Suns. Geelong 14-15-99 to Gold Coast's 8-11-59. So that'll be 3 defeats in a row for Gold Coast. 8 tries to 2 for the Dolphins. Who did you give your 3-2 and 1-2, Billy?
Can I just make special mention to 2 players I didn't give points to?
Of course.
Francis Molo, 14 carries, 153 metres. I think he's just improving, and he's a player that fits the category. He's a much better player this year than he was last, and he's done plenty of things in his career.
He's had a really interesting football journey, of course, punctuated by the fact that he was involved in the tackle that cost the life of that Sunshine Coast Falcons player whose name unfortunately escapes me at the moment. So he's had a lot more to deal with in the world of footy than many others. But he was adamant he didn't want to be at the Dragons anymore. And now it seems like he's finally showing the potential of a young man that's been through a fair bit.
Correct. Another special mention, Nafu White. I gave him raps before the game, gave him raps during the game. Quick numbers, 16 carries, 178 metres, 92 of those post-contact. On top of that, did 44 tackles. Wow. And he will be part of a New Zealand Kiwi pack of forwards in the World Cup, which is scary, because he's probably not the best player in that forward pack. He's thereabouts, but wow, what a forward pack. Anyway, 3 points for Zai Katoa. He was the conductor extraordinaire tonight. That's about as good as I've seen him play. He was brilliant. Kicked for nearly 700 metres, 25 tackles, a try assist. He was brilliant. I gave 2 to Herbie Farnworth. And obviously, that's a good Katoa played. Farnworth a try, 2 try assists, 160 metres carried, 50 post contact, 7 tackle breaks. I gave 1 to Jerry Marshall King. If they go deep, really deep in the finals queue, Marshall King will be the reason. The other players around there, they are fantastic. But the 9, that's the guy. That's the guy. If he plays well in finals, there is no limit to how good the Finns can be.
So 3 to Katoa, 2 to Farnworth, who won the Arthur Beetson medal, and 1 to Jeremy Marshall King. And it's funny, sort of at the start of the season, we thought Marshall King almost the most irreplaceable because there's not someone who can play that role. And then Max Plass says, no, that's okay, I can play 9 too. So with Marshall King missing that start of the year, they've also now got plan B for their 9.
And Donahue jumped in there a bit as well. But you can tell that you can't just see when you watch them. There is a affiliate 9 and then there's a natural 9, and that's what Marshall King is.
Should we remind Canterbury Bankstown supporters who won the Bulldogs Player of the Year before he left Belmore and went to the Dolphins?
That's right.
You know, talking about Toby Sexton, talking about Reid Marnie. People forget they also let their best player of 2022
walk away.
Go.
Yeah.
Jeremy Marshall King was Bulldog of the Year in 22 and then moved to the Dolphins.
I just love his sublime out of dummy half and his ability to no-look pass, and the way by doing that it brings in the second marker and it brings in the A defender and just creates space, and then all of a sudden the Katoas, the Nicaribas, the Farmers basically play off the back of that space.
Full-time at Gardenia Park, Geelong's won by 45 points, so all over there at 105 to 60. Now, just a reminder that over the weekend and in the early hours of tomorrow morning, we start our coverage of the Women's T20 World Cup being played in England. The first game is the hosts against Sri Lanka at Edgbaston. So you can hear that on ABC Listen on the white cricket button and on ABC Sport Digital. Australia's first game is against South Africa tomorrow night at 11:30 p.m. So that's the replay of the 2024 semi, which Australia lost. So South Africa and Australia in the first game of that Women's T20 World Cup from an Australian point of view tomorrow, but in the early hours of tomorrow morning. So it's tomorrow night for the Aussie game, tomorrow morning for that first game, England and Sri Lanka. One of the plethora of options for you on ABC Listen. And just repeating that big news from cricket over in that part of the world, Kane Williamson immediately retiring from international cricket. Done. Second test not far away in that England-New Zealand series, but Kane Williamson has had enough in the lead into what's been a very newsy test where Ben Stokes is not playing and Joe Root's going to captain, Ollie Robinson not playing as well.
Question without notice again. Kane Williamson, where does he rank for you, New Zealand cricketers? Is he top three? Is he number one?
The cricketers.
Cricketers, right? You got to pick. Is he top three Kiwi cricketers of all time?
He's on the podium with Sir Richard Hadley and Martin Crowe.
Thank you. Yep.
And probably just displaces Dan Vettori from that top three, but. Yeah, different eras.
Yes, but
obviously, you love your cricket as well. Is that,
I love my cricket.
Is that a fair enough trifecta to go with?
Yep, I love musing around at things. I love asking questions of you like that because I like to put you on the spot and you always answer.
I reckon, and you say this of all batsmen of the older days, how good would it have been able to see Martin Crowe play 20 over cricket?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we never got that.
Yeah, and you think about the wickets they were playing on was so much harder to bat on. So you imagine on the flatter decks how good he would have been.
Yeah. So just before we wrap things up here, of course, all roads leading to Melbourne for Origin 2. Nate Miles joined us. Queensland landing in Melbourne and getting ready for Game 3 down in the southern capital. And of course, Billy, you spoke about what it's like to play at the MCG. Nate Miles, who's an assistant coach with the Maroons, he knows that as a player as well and gave us a little insight earlier on NRL Friday.
Yeah, look, it's special and different because you're obviously in a bit of a neutral territory, being that you won't ever fully understand how many exactly supporters, the amount of supporters are in of each side in the stadium, but there seems to be a lot of support for both sides here, so it does make it a bit neutral in regards to your preparation, but also to this time of year, it's a bit different to, a few of our boys coming down from Townsville and Gold Coast and Brisbane, they come down, this is a little bit different for them, so our preparation in our last Melbourne match was really good, but I don't think we fully dove into the conditions and the scenario and embraced it properly, and then the result probably showed that. So we really chose to take it on this year, and we did a similar approach to Perth last year where we just want to get over there and we'll get down here now and take it on and do our best.
As player and coach, you've been through many camps, and obviously prep can take different looks, particularly when it's Game 2 compared to the start of the series. So I'm just wondering, once you got everyone together, what was the first 24 hours like as far as, do you do a review or do you just get straight into Game 2 prep?
Yeah, I definitely do a review, mate. Yeah, you cannot go into Game 2 without understanding how you performed and what you achieved together and what you didn't achieve, right, to some extent in Game 1. The preparation's completely different, though, because Game 1 you're filled with so many obligations to whether it be sponsors or fans and things like that, and even Game 3 we've got a fan day that we're going to travel for, so your game preparation and your training preps are very different. This camp's been really good. We got in early, we all congregated up on Sunshine Coast. We didn't bother about going and being anywhere else. We had to go into Brisbane and camp 1, so this camp was just straight in, got everything sorted. Players were all good. The main focus is getting everyone on the same page, but this prep's been really strong for us.
And saw that Cam Munster sort of missed a training session in the lead into game one. Are there any sort of niggles that you're managing? We expect all players to have niggles. It's in the middle of footy season, but any that are going to prevent guys running together in the run into Wednesday?
No, definitely not, mate. We're near full flight at the moment, so you know the biggest struggle, as you know, is when you get players coming in off different days of playing and get them all on the same page. So sometimes it's a bit of a load management process, but you know all our boys are flying at the moment.
Nate Miles speaking a little bit earlier on NRL Friday. Game 2, of course, at the MCG on Wednesday. Okay, Billy, we've got a bit of club footy to get through before, of course, we get to that in this abridged round 15. So just the 2 games tomorrow, starting across the ditch, Warriors versus Cronulla Sutherland. And, of course, both teams have got a couple of Origin players out. No Capewell, no Barnett for the Warriors, no Nickera, no Fanua Blake for the Sharks.
Yeah, irresistible Warriors at the moment, and the thing about them in 2026 is their resilience. I talked about how the Finns are defending well, and the Finns have obviously strengthened what was missing in their side. To me, the Warriors, it's their resilience, their consistency, their ability to find ways to win rather than excuses to lose. I just like what I'm seeing from the boys from across the ditch, so they'll beat the Sharks.
Eels were very close on Monday against the Dogs, but got done, and they host the Raiders. Ricky's Raiders without Ethan Strange, without Hudson Young. Parramatta, well, they haven't had Mitchell Moses the last couple of weeks anyway, but he's the sole Parramatta representative.
And you got to remember too, when they got beat last week, 26-0. The Raiders. And when you think about that team, there's plenty of firepower in it. So, look, I'm leaning towards the Raiders to win that because their backs are to the wall a little bit. We're talking about the Broncos faltering campaign in 26 as premiers. Well, 2025, the Raiders were minor premiers.
Yeah,
and I had them actually improving, so I had it in my top 4. So at the moment, I can't put my finger on exactly what's going wrong there, but they are certainly flying under the radar in the sense of no one's talking about the fact that they're not looking good, and they're right down they're at the back end of that table. So they're going to start to turn it around. I think this is the one where they win.
You're good, Billy, but if you can tell me what happens at Leichhardt on Sunday, you're an absolute genius. Because I reckon you could throw up 30 rugby league scenarios and still miss the target for what happens when the West Tigers play Gold Coast.
Yeah, that is such a good point. It's almost like just close your eyes, throw the dart at the board and see what comes up.
Look, you were here. You called the game with Spriggy last week. The Titans, that was, even though the Bronx form isn't much to write home about, still, for the Titans to win that game last week.
Yeah, they did, and it was in front of 45,000. It's a big day for the Titans. I've got them going back to back. I think they can do that. I think they can go to Sydney and come back with the chocolates. There you go.
No Appy for the Tigers.
Huge out. But it's so rocks and diamondsy that you don't know what you're going to get there. And when you think that to lose 68-0, and then you obviously Appy's out, but you just don't know with the Tigers. It's the Benji Marshall style where when it clicks, wow. But I just got a feeling that win last week for the Titans against Big Brother, that'll give them a lot of confidence. The young coach, I just think that he'll be saying, and their defence is picked up. They're a much better defensive team, even though they conceded so many points last week. I still like what I saw. I could see cohesion and improvement.
Good on you, Billy. Now, just before we sign off, quick question without notice. You like giving them to me. I'll give one to you before we wrap up in 40 seconds' time. If Queensland win Game 2 at the MCG, who's going to be man of the match for the Maroons?
The number 9.
Harry Grant. Okay.
Yeah. I think he
pretty solid answer.
Stops and starts there. If he's able to do what he wants to do, we'll be able to.
Okay. Well, thank you for your company tonight. Thanks to Zane Bojack, who survived the intermittent showers down on the touchline, to Brad Talon's sticky notes, to Branko's faders, and to Spriggy controlling it all back in the studio. And thank you for your company on this Friday. Remember Roy and HG from noon tomorrow, and then the long pre-game show leading into that first game with the Wars at home to the Sharks. 48-10 for the Dolphins over the Roosters. Thanks for your company at Lang Park for NRL Friday. Have a good evening. Chat to you tomorrow. Off to the right, Katoa. Outside in play. Molo dragged down by a try saver. A metre from the goal line. It was White who saved the try, but there's numbers to the left of the ruck. Katoa receives, dummies, goes himself, and Laurie Daly says, go forth from New South Wales camp, young man, and lead your team to the first try of the night. The Roosters are at 6s and 7s here. Pass to the left, through the hands, Katoa. Great hands, Lemu, Elu, Nikarima. Farnworth to the left corner. Farnworth in for the Fins.
They're hot tonight in the Fins. What a passage of play.
Play to Marshall King, given right for Katoa. He's pointing at one point, going passing to the other. Gives to Nikarima, passes to Keeley, breaks a tackle, up to the 20, draws the fullback, and passes to his fullback. It's Trey Fuller scoring for the Dolphins. But a little right side run from the Fins. Play to Marshall King, given left to Katoa. Kicks early in the set to Nikarima. That is a thing of rugby league beauty. The bounce for Nikarima. It was if it was custom made. And he goes in to score. And the Dolphins are en route to a 6th win in a row. 8 metres out centre field. Marshall King out of dummy half. Siwa Wong was asleep. Marshall King says thank you. I'll take that opportunity. 28-0 kick to come. That was Wong from Siwa, and Marshall King made the most of it. Just a metre the attacking side of halfway. Fins to the left. Katoa holds it up, gives it Nikarima on the Farnworth. Steps through Smith, up to the 30, gallops through another, draws the fullback, passes, and in goes Lemu. Elu for another Dolphins try. This is becoming a Friday night carve-up. The Dolphins lead the Roosters 34-0. Bond goes downfield, 10 from the Dolphins line. It's left bounce to young passing Blake, who will score in his first game in the NRL. Nafahu gets to the 30, kicks infield. What a kick. Brad Schneider's on the field, and he swan dives into the in goal at the Caxton Street end, having not broken a stride to gather that kick from the bust of Tavita Nafahu. Is there a prettier team in the comp when they get going, the Fins? Once again, front foot ball for the Dolphins. Schneider to the left. Nikarima gives to Farnworth. Watch out. Passes here for Tavita Nafahu. Goes into the left corner for another Dolphins try. It's given to Osako. There's 3 seconds left. He's tackled. That's end of section. And the Dolphins have won it comfortably.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Punching on the blind side. Who are the hogs for the homeless, he says. Who the hell is rooting King? Man, we can't help. No, we can't help. Roy and HG. Listen to the show, and eventually all of this will be revealed.
ABC Sport Digital Radio. Your home of NRL.
Territory Grandstand.
Territory Grandstand.
This weekend we explore the origins of sport in the Territory with sport historian Matthew Stevens.
On ABC Radio Darwin and the Northern Territory.
It's not a myth, the man is here. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, Kenny. It's like Burke Street here, people.
I know. I wasn't aware we were bringing guests in then, but it's just fantastic. And then just for the listeners, there was a couple of other people as well hanging around. But what a great event. You'll probably be reading about that in 20, 30 years' time, who played that match. But what I get behind the scenes, Matt, there is that, rugby leagues, like other sports, have recognised that, this long weekend, everybody goes away. It's hard to get people on the paddock. So to have that out and get a representative match in it, so nobody misses out.
Representative sport, as you said, is special, and I'm sure all those that are involved will enjoy it, as will the spectators that go along.
And who are we focusing on today?
Well, we're continuing on with the St. Francis story from in Adelaide. Adelaide, for those people that may have missed the show last week, St Francis Boys Home was in South Semaphore in Adelaide, and it was set up in the late 50s and early 60s as a home for generally young men from Central Australia. Initially, it was for boys with whom Father Percy Smith negotiated with families from Alice Springs, Indigenous boys, to further their education. And as time went by, there was also a number of fellows who came from what's known as the stolen generation, went down to live at St Francis Home in Semaphore. And last week we covered Charlie Perkins, John Moriarty, Wally MacArthur, and their careers in soccer, rugby league and professional athletics. And today we're just turning our attention to some of the fellas that ended up playing for the great Port Adelaide Football Club, because of course Semaphore's right in the heartland of Port Adelaide territory. And the first of those that made a mark was a fellow by the name of Malcolm Cooper. Malcolm was one of the original 6 St Francis boys. In 1953, he won the Port Adelaide Colts Most Improved Award, and there's a lot of mythology around Malcolm Cooper. This is another one of those sort of stories where the myth sort of took over from reality a little bit. The myth is that Malcolm Cooper was the first Port Adelaide Indigenous player, and he played in Port Adelaide's 1953 grand final win against West Torrens. And I'm not quite sure where that came from, because when I checked with Port Adelaide themselves, they said, no, Matthew, that didn't happen. But it is true. There's an interesting sort of twist on Cooper's status as Port Adelaide's first Indigenous player. Back in the 19th century, there was an exhibition game that was played, and Port Adelaide recruited just for that one game an Aboriginal fella from Point Macleay? I used to know it, down on Meningie, down on the lakes there. So he wasn't actually a Port Adelaide player, he was a guest player. So Malcolm Cooper did become, in 1954, the first Indigenous Port player to play state SANFL football. He played 5 games for Port Adelaide between 54 and 55 during that great era when Foss Williams was the coach of the club, and anyone that follows Port Adelaide will know that was a pretty winning period.
There's a few stands named after him.
But Malcolm Cooper returned to Alice Springs after he finished his stint down in Adelaide, and played for Pioneers in the late 50s. Probably the best known, most renowned Alice Springs gentleman that played for Port Adelaide during this period through St Francis Boys was Richie Bray. Now, Richie had quite a long sort of sports history. He was down there for 6 years, completing his high school certificate in 1953, and then he actually came back to the territory, and he was in Darwin, he was in Alice Springs, he played rugby league, he played soccer, he played Australian rules. In Alice Springs in 1955, 56 I think it was, he won the male medal. No, that might have been the year before, and then in 1957 he won the Minahan medal. So he's a very good CAFL footballer. But while he was in Darwin, after that time, he started playing rugby league, and he was offered a trial with Balmain. So, you know, he was obviously a pretty good rugby league player as well.
Is that in relation to the top end Coopers? Robbie Cooper?
No, this is Richie Bray.
Oh, Richie Bray, sorry.
Yeah, different mob altogether.
I was thinking Malcolm Cooper, but Richie Bray,
there's quite a clan of Brays down in.
I remember a young cricketer, I think footballer, Ezra Bray.
Yes, indeed. Same family. And so he went down to Sydney, and strangely enough, he suffered some sort of mysterious allergy. So he didn't fare so well in Sydney and never really got to show his wares with Balmain. And the Alice Springs Stewart Arms publican by the name of Laurie Rourke arranged for Richie to return to Adelaide to work at the ICI factory because Richie obviously needed a job, and Laurie Rourke was well connected, and so Richie goes back to Port Adelaide to work at the ICI factory and got involved with the Exeter Football Club, which is another big club in the Port Adelaide area.
I keep nodding my head because I'm like, I used to drive from Semaphore all the way, around Port Adelaide. That's where I played cricket, and all these bring back some memories.
Yes, there's a few suburbs down there that are dyed-in-the-wool Port Adelaide. And in 1959, he decided to try his luck with Port Adelaide. And although it took him a little while to become a regular A-grade player in the 1960s, he did play 77 games for Port Adelaide, but possibly most importantly, he played in 2 winning grand finals. He won 2 premierships with Port Adelaide in 1962 and 1963. And Richie was in fact inducted into the South Australian Indigenous Team of the Century, and if we've got time I'll talk a little bit about that. At the same time, so something to keep in mind for the listeners who follow their football, this is the very same time that David Cantilla was down in Adelaide exciting the fans playing for South Adelaide, and he caused a huge sensation down in South Australia. The fellas from St Francis probably didn't get the same attention because they were seen as local players, even though they were all from Alice Springs. So they didn't get quite the same attention. One of those fellas was a fella by the name of Wilfred Buffer Huddleston. Now, here in the Territory, you probably know that the Huddleston name hails from the Roper River area. And Buffer, as he was known, played 24 games for Port Adelaide in that same time as Richie Bray. So the two of them were playing for Port Adelaide at the same time in 1961 through to about 1963. And in fact, it was Richie Bray who edged out Wilfred Huddleston from that 1963 grand final team. So they were sort of vying for the same position. But 24 games for Port Adelaide in the early 60s, and possibly one of the best known names from South Australia. And I hail from South Australia myself, and this name was very familiar to me, but I had no idea that he was from the Northern Territory, and that's Sonny Morey. Sonny Morey, who certainly wasn't this year, but perhaps the year before, was the AFL Indigenous Round ambassador. Yeah. So that focused quite a bit of attention on Sonny, who was a great player in South Australia. But I didn't know that he was born a Gorry. So that probably starts making people think, yeah, I get it. Central Australia, Gorry's a well-known Central Australian family. He was born at Yamba Station, so he's an Arundel fella, but he was part of that stolen generation and went to St Francis House in 1958. Now, here's an accolade that no one can take away from Sonny Morey. He recorded the very first kick for Central Districts in 1964 when they first entered the SANFL as a new team. First kick. So Sonny got his hands on the ball before anybody else from Centrals.
Well, might have the same this year with Banks had just been admitted into the Premier League.
Well, we have to look out for that. We'll get the statisticians to look out for it.
If you just